now in team.
In the back line, but he takes out a nade. Oh, still he stays alive again. Oh, there it is. What a shot through the edge of the box. SemiFinal closes the half.
Honestly, I'm very relieved that we managed to pull through. The group stage has been okay. For us, it didn't matter too much if we were first or second, as long as we made it out of the groups. What an amazing feeling. What an amazing crowd here in Rotterdam. It's a great pleasure.
Walk in, that's an easy spray down from Extra Powered.
We have a goal. We want to reach the finals. It's our main goal. That's what we want to do. Of course, we want to win the tournament, but we know that we have AVANGAR here, we have Heroic here, and we have to give them a fight.
Honestly, it's probably to make the final, so that's still a realistic goal as we're only one game away from that. But we're aiming at the trophy. We can see it when sitting on the stage, so we're going up against Forze, and we're the underdogs for sure. They've been looking fairly good in the group stage, but I feel like we're very comfortable being the underdog.
Roosting on the B bomb site, but he regains vision, and he doesn't have to reveal himself yet. He still has an element of surprise. 2 kills, 3 kills for Forze.
The crowd has been insane. We can hear you guys all the time. We're yelling and screaming, so thank you so much for the support. I hope we have your support again today. Let's get this game started.
Yeah, we're going to win this next game. Just be ready, we are coming.
Well, there we have it. Forze there. Their aim is to get to the finals, to have a Moscow rematch against AVANGAR. But of course, Heroic are standing in their way. And yet, are Forze the favourites in this matchup, Potter?
You know, I found it interesting that Cadian mentioned that they were the underdogs coming into this matchup. And, you know, I would say that that's almost a good thing coming in for Heroic, because I wouldn't say that they're the underdogs. I would say that they've been on that upward trajectory thus far, especially in this past month. And on paper, they're probably the better team faced up against this Forze. So, but I do think it is a positive coming out of Cadian. But yes, Forze, they've definitely been on that upward trajectory just as well. I mean, making it all the way to the grand finals in Floss Pro Series Moscow is definitely not something any of us expected. And each individual on these Forze side of things have been able to step up. But we did hear from Jerry in his interview that they took a bit of a break. They weren't playing quite as much CS as they had been previously coming and leading up into this tournament. So I'm hoping that that's not a huge factor for them.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see how they fare against Heroic, because this Forze I'm seeing here in DreamHack Open Rotterdam is a little bit of a different beast compared to what we saw of them online or in Blast Pro, even in the Major. This is a much more controlled, much more cohesive, and much more, may I say, mature unit. The way they're approaching those maps they played, yes, it was a closer game against Havu. It got a little out of control, but at least the game we saw of theirs against Asterion, yes, the caveat is it was Asterion, it's a mixed team, they managed to qualify to the men of qualifiers and all of that jazz. But the point is, the way they approach it, very mature. They're looking at it from a very holistic viewpoint rather than just going for aggressive plays and whatnot, right? And that is a very positive sign for me personally, and that could be the missing factor for them being a consistent force to be reckoned with in every event they attend.
It is interesting with Forze because I know I'm guilty of it. When I think of Forze, I think of XP Power, I think of Jerry's control over that team, his relationship with Little, the coach. But actually, what we've seen from them, well, we've only seen 2 best of ones here. We've seen the other players actually really stepping up. It's no longer just about that AWP. Flip, for example, a fantastic game from him on Nuke against Havu. And they really needed his firepower because it was 16-14. It was a closely run thing, Potter.
It definitely was. And as I mentioned, each member on this side of Forze have been stepping up. And as you mentioned, Sudan, they have looked like a very cohesive unit. And it's not something that we expect from these CIS region teams. Normally, we expect their aggression, their just kind of shenanigans and thriving within that chaos. But there was a lot of beautiful set pieces coming out of Forze, specifically on that CT side of Inferno. Their cohesive pushes, their utility usage, everything seemed to kind of flow together and synergize really well.
Yeah, when we speak about CIS teams and aggression, what Forze is showing here is controlled aggression, and that's a beautiful thing. Like, you know, when you push in, you take the fight, and then at one point you're like, all right, we got the man advantage, let's get the hell out of there.
Now, Heroic. I'm going to be devil's advocate here. Is this honeymoon period that they've been on at ECS and EPL finally over, Blair?
I don't see any signs of them stopping anytime soon. They look good. Cadian, yeah, I agree with Potter. Cadian saying like we're underdogs here. It's a little surprising. They've been looking so damn good. Bear in mind that. And they've been playing better CS more recently compared to Forze, who we lost ours in BlastPro, and a couple of online games where they've had kind of mixed results, right? But I think they are here to make a point. They're here to prove that, listen, there's not just a honeymoon period, we have a system in place, and like Potter and me have been mentioning on the desk time and time again in the past couple of days, these roles seem to fit so very well. The way they're setting up stuff and the way Caden's playing around with that off, he's not being too aggressive, just playing that role perfectly. Snappy, not just in-game leading, but also being a force to be reckoned with in the server. S-Attack bringing in his experience, and Borup having quite a good day yesterday. So this team, I'm going to say that I'm expecting a lot from Heroic down the few months at the very least.
As am I. You mentioned the honeymoon period, and I gotta say as well, I mean, they seem to be a very mature team, even though they are a new team, and it's those roles that you speak of these players just meshing so perfectly well together in those roles, and it's really Snappy. Since he's joined the team with Cadian, they've been able to really synergize together well, and the cohesive aggression on their CT side, it seems to be just pushing them over the edge.
Well, let's move away from the edge. And let's move towards two players, one from each team. Potter, you've got head-to-head for us?
Yes, I've got the head-to-head. We've been speaking about Staffin all weekend long, and as you mentioned, Sudan, he is number 4 on those leaderboards, and as he should be. This 17-year-old has been just thriving within this team, and he's been able to do it all. He's been able to entry frag for his team, and he's been able to lurk. And this new style of lurking in 2019, where it's not just waiting for your team to die and flanking slowly, it's the style of lurking of just timing the enemies, making sure that he's able to pick off the enemies in their rotations, cut off the middle of the map. Staffin seems to be everywhere at the right time, and he gets the frags to back him up.
And of course, we have Flit being picked by Potter as well, and he has been quite a revelation. The caveat being for Forze, they only played 2 maps. So if you just look at his stats, quick stats here, Z powered 1.44, Flit with a 1.41 HLV rating, but they've only played 2 maps. But Flit popping off in the new game, it presents a very good sign for this team, because it's always been Z power while everyone else has been kind of quiet in the background. If he steps up here, I do agree with you. I think it's going to be a banger of a series, especially with these 2 players facing off against each other.
Well, Forze have already got into their huddles. Stavin, he's a little bit late to the party. Come on, Stavin. There we go. Oh, you can hear the cheers already. There are a few Heroic fans out there in Rotterdam.
Quite a few.
Oh, they've had their monster energy this morning. What about our CIS team? Our Russians, Forze!
Oh. Come on.
Come on. Give them a little bit of love. We wouldn't have a semi-final without them. Let's face it, Rotterdam.
There are a lot of Danish fans yesterday. We saw them so very loud. We had a few technical issues yesterday, so there was no casting in the arena. But the crowd were there, and they were just ready and chanting and cheering on Heroic. So Heroic, despite the fact they're not playing in Denmark, in their hometown, they are having a lot of support, the 6th man, so to speak.
Well, listen, you know what? I'm going to ask Rotterdam their predictions, but first of all, I've got to ask these two. Potter, who are you saying it's going to be today?
I do think this is going to be an extremely close affair, but I got to say Heroic's path to get here was so challenging for them, and I'm so glad to see that they were able to overcome that. I think that's going to be able to bode well for them coming in. I'm going with Heroic.
All right, then. I want to say Heroic because they've been looking so good, right? But I'm going to stand by Forze. I think it's been time and time again, everyone's like, yeah, they've reached the finals, they've reached the semifinals, now they're going to fall flat, and they keep defying the odds time and time again. This time around, I believe Jerry and the boys have what it takes. Do it there till, I think, 11:30 at night. I saw Jerry on the bus.
Yeah.
They left with us. They've been putting in the hours, and I'm going to put my faith in that.
Well, you know what? I'm going to just find out from the audience. I'm going to use them to help me predict. So is it going to be Forze Rotterdam?
No, doesn't look like it.
Or is it going to be Heroic? All right then, Rotterdam, you and me, baby, we are predicting Heroic, but let's find out what my favorite people are thinking. Twitch chat, come on. Play God with me. Who's going to win?
Obviously Forze.
Oh, okay. All right. Pick
This
a
might be
side,
the
Twitch chat, why don't you?
closest prediction thus far.
Yeah,
It is.
it is damn pretty
know,
close, yeah.
That is like the division in my brain right now because I feel very close to both of these teams. I like them both. How can you not love Jerry or Cadian? But right now, that's enough from us because we need to give our love to our casters this morning. It is Dustin Vincent. Hello.
Howdy.
I just called you Vincent rather than Vince. I hope you don't mind.
It is my actual name, to be fair, but no one calls me it.
Oh, well, I do now. Me and your mum.
There you go. Yeah, exactly.
Right, we're going to hand things over to you because we could be going to 4-3 maps here.
Indeed, we could be. Definitely a possibility here, especially because I feel like Overpass is a map that Forze has been a bit weaker on, but Inferno could be a bit of a brawl, and so we could see that third map nuke for sure. So yeah, we're ready to go here in the semifinals between Forze and Heroic. Definitely excited to get started, Vince.
Oh, absolutely, man. I think both best of threes today can be pretty solid for us in the semifinals. And then obviously the finals could very well be a repeat performance of Blast Moscow if things line up. We'll have to see if that grudge match comes into fruition.
Indeed, we do. Now, unfortunately, to you folks out in the crowd, we have to make an announcement that we still are having some issues up here, so we don't want to, affect the competitive integrity of the match. So once the game goes live, you will not hear the commentators today. However, you will hear all the in-game sounds, all that good stuff, so you're still going to get pretty much the full experience. And then for those of you out on the stream, you still get to hear us, which could be a good or bad thing, depending on your philosophy, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of up to you.
I will say, though, crowd, that even though you won't be able to hear us, the stream will be able to hear you. So make sure you do keep the noise and the volume up for both teams, although let's be real, it's probably Heroic that's getting...
Doesn't seem like there's a lot of Heroic fans out there, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's not quite as far to travel from Russia as it is from Denmark here in Holland.
True.
It's not too far away for the Danes.
Right. Absolutely. And so, yeah, we're going to our opening map on Overpass. This is a map that Forze have been a bit dodgy on in online play. Even their LAN play hasn't been that great. Meanwhile, we've seen Heroic really be able to use Overpass effectively in all their matches thus far since this lineup has come together. So definitely looking to have the slight edge coming into this. Obviously, for Heroic, they're trying to continue that, kind of upward trend that they've been having with, what they've been able to do in EPL, how they've been able to qualify for Star Ladder, all these different online competitions they've looked so sharp on since KD joined. And then for Forze, it's about trying to, do the same exact thing. I mean, they were looking so good in all of their online play throughout the year. Narrowly missed out on Cologne. They did qualify for Chicago, but couldn't attend, beating some really good teams along the way. And then obviously they didn't have the greatest of majors, but they had that finals appearance in Moscow on home soil. And so this is definitely a team that has caught people's eyes. They're very aggressive, very chaotic. They're very fun to watch. And at times they can really pull off some great games. So hopefully we're in for that slobber knocker that Blair was talking about.
Good old JR. Very few people are going to get that reference, but he did make it, to be fair. Classic commentator. That being said, in our semi-finals, the Russians versus the Danes. And I really do feel like this is going a full 3 maps, Dust. I can't help but feel that we are going to be moving across to Nuke in a couple of hours' time. But Overpass is our first stop in this best of 3. First semi-finals about to get started, about to go live. CT side will be the Russians of Forze, and Heroic occupying the T side, pushing in with a smoke and 2 flashes to their name in the hands of Snappy.
Yeah, the big battle to look out for is Flit and Z-Power are both in the top 3 right now for rating in this tournament, and they're going up against Stown, who is just below them, and Borup's also had a fantastic tournament thus far, so I feel like those are going to be the 4 players, 2 to each side, that are going to be the ones to keep eyes on. But Heroic looking like they want to kick things off here in a pistol with a nice little pop-out monster, but Almazer, he has spotted it through the short pipe.
That's going to be a call straight through. Flit instantly connects the headshot. And now Jerry's going to have to try and fend off against multiple adversaries. He's going to fall in the first hurdle. Still, though, the CTs have the player advantage. Burke being tagged down, but so is Facecrack. Almazer still alive, still kicking from short. And now Stavin and Snappy going to connect the dots with their Glocks. Facecrack on 5 HP, though. We need Flit to do a lot of the heavy lifting. And now it all falls down to Flit. It looked like a beautiful start to the round. Start to the best of 3. Flit just going to trade USPs for more ammunition. Still needs to reload, however. He's made a lot of noise in the process, so there's no reason for Rock to even peek him. And is he deciding to go up to Heaven, or potentially just pull back and keep a hold of his Kevlar? It seems the former rather than the latter. See if he can connect himself a headshot. There's the first one. And there's the kit too, but Snappy returns the favor. And the Danes start off with a win.
Yeah, just kind of brute forcing their way into that B bomb site. There was that early bit of information from Almazer's push into short, and Flit did have a nice little opening kill on the first dome that came into his crosshair, but Heroic eventually able to really grind their way into that, particularly Stout a couple of big kills. Again, he's the one that's really been the star of Heroic, seeming like one of their leading MVP candidates if they were to go all the way to the trophy. And again, Heroic not wasting any time as they gather up outside B again. They are a team that either plays default or they really do favor these various different kind of B splits and set pieces, but I think the utility there kind of made them reconsider, and so you'll see them kind of back off and start just kind of getting more into a default. They've left Burr up at B as his normal position. They have Stown kind of playing connector as he normally will, and then the rest are just kind of trying to get that initial control over towards Playground.
As you say, really feeling this one out. They don't have much real estate outside, though, of connector. So you're going to have to be very careful, utilize some of these flashbangs to move in, such as connector. Molotov's going to fade, Cadian. Now Prest is behind it. Tag and Mimar going to be coming up through the balloons. No one has checked long, though, and this is where players like FaceCrack could start to have a big impact in the round.
Indeed, they could. Depends if they decide to push or if Heroic actually kind of does go that direction. But if they actually just come up middle, they will bypass a lot of that. Or if they decide to reroute the connector to B and go for that push, then again, it will just kind of be on Almazer and Jerry to deal with this. Because we see Z-Power and FaceCrack kind of pushed up so far along, they're going to be a little bit longer to rotate as well to have the assistance. And now we have a push off the sandbags. Close exchange, Snappy the one winning the duel.
As you'd anticipate with this kind of a buy or lack thereof from Forze's perspective, 30 seconds to play with. Another kill goes the way of the Danes. Flit hiding, residing at the backside of the site, was hoping for the best, but it's just not going to pay off for him.
Yeah, unfortunately not. Just, again, the superior firepower coming through here for Heroic. They were trying to be proactive with their forward positioning at long and pushing into short, trying to get that information, trying to disrupt the setup of Heroic, but unfortunately for them, it's a flawless victory for the Danes as they do jump up 2-0. Got Frankie out there hanging out with the crowd. Oh, Padro's out there too. Okay, so we got our analyst out there hanging out with you.
Keeping them entertained while the rounds switch over. They can't hear us.
They can't hear us. But you folks out in Twitch chat, you got our backs, I'm sure. Definitely always very supportive in Twitch chat, I'm sure. No memes, no spams. There's
definitely no cappers in chat.
No, definitely no fish heads, no, you know, back in the game, nothing like that.
HE and Flashbang, but Forze are just being destroyed by the MAC-10s. The SMG's really claiming all the kills. That's a bunch of money in the back pocket now for Heroic collectively. 3-0 start, but they're going to be good for a couple of rounds to come.
Indeed they are. This is where hopefully Z-Power is going to be able to get that AWP out. Again, he is kind of one of the stars of this team. He's number 2 rated player in the tournament. Been doing great work. And he is indeed going to be having his big Zoom banger events, as it is called. I am well informed of.
It is certainly the destroyer of worlds if you're on the receiving end of it. Has supplemented a lot of his utility, though, as a result of this. And Snappy is just going to go up aggressively. Takes a grenade for his troubles, though. Not quite the gap in the smoke he was hoping for.
No, not at all. We're still seeing Forze kind of hold forward here on the bathroom. Something too aggressive. And Flit does spot that cross by Snappy. He was focused on that connector. So Flit gets a freebie and is able to just back off into the A bomb site while Almazer does still kind of hold a bit of a forward position. He has a smoke for cover as well in the doorway in front of him. So very default opening here from Heroic. So it's all going to come down to Stound if he can come up connector and assist this A press. And we see Cadian and S-Attack going for here. But again, utility is kind of holding them up.
Spray on point just about. Running through the last few bullets of his ammunition in the magazine. Gonna keep him alive just about on 13.
And that's the power of Heroic, man. They have Stound and Burrup kind of playing the solo roles in Connector and B, and they're really good playmakers. They're not just sitting there holding out, you know, baiting, you know, lurking, whatever you want to call it. Like, they're the ones that can really find those openings. And that's great because obviously they suffered an opening pick, and those two just kind of pitch in and get them the advantage right back into a 4 versus 3. Still plenty of time left. Again, they do favor these B executes in the mid to late round, so no surprise to see that bomb is already drifting in that direction. It's all going to be on Jerry with this AWP to see if he can put a stop to this.
Time though, Dust, 20 seconds. And it's going to rapidly decrease. They have to get in, and it's going to be Burrup actually claiming the first kill in this encounter. Jerry's AWP will do nothing. And with his death, the site will follow. Forze have no interest in even trying to go for this. They're pulling the plug, they're saving.
Can't really blame them. The money's not really there. These 2 M4s will be vital to them posing a threat into the next round. Well, holding on to some head armor and an incendiary, so a good amount there. We'll see if anyone from Heroic wants to give chase. They are pretty far away. Do have Stound kind of push forward towards T-spawn, but doesn't seem to be looking to move forward. So it seems like these 2 guns will be indeed crossed over into round number 5. Heroic up to the 4-0 lead. And a lot of these rounds have been pretty dominant, Vince. It's understandable, you know, when you're doing the pistol and the anti-eco that it can sometimes go that way. But even, you know, this gun round here was really well handled by Heroic. Even with the suffering of an opening pick, I mean, they're the ones that fell early there, and here they come.
Cadian working the crowd as he was yesterday. Saw a couple of his tweets saying that all the support meant the world to Heroic. A team, of course, that are relatively new together with this full roster.
It's also nice to see Cadian back in kind of a home again. I mean, he's kind of bounced around teams. He's been a stand-in for Heroic at times. But now he finally finds his permanent place here. And unfortunately, his place in this round will be in the dirt, as Z-Power has formed the Jackson Pollock painting there on the wall. The blood splatter means it is a 5-on-4 for Forze early, despite the fact they don't have that much to work with. Getting the most out of what firepower they do have. Very important stuff to do early in the round.
Second smoke deployed, and it will be their last smoke with this much time remaining. Just under a minute and a half. They don't check the back angle. Borup with the SG. Surgical precision, not missing a mark. And although an M4 is still in play for Forze, losing those 2 players is such a hefty blow. However, Z-Power trying to get round the corner of Playground has been found and put down.
Indeed, Stan will reclaim this territory for the T's as they start pressing over towards the A bomb site. Forze holding their 2 remaining players towards B. Borup will be holding off any rotations that may come through short and into connector. Actually setting up a heaven so to keep these Forze players guessing that it could indeed be a B hit. Although I think his smoke actually did miss, but still it doesn't matter. He's still creating that presence. Heroic taking their time. They can't know for sure if any CTs are holding close angles.
Borup is the intel gatherer. He is the expendable player on their team. Now that he's dead and the call will come through, they can just execute onto the A site. They're about to find out it's completely barren, completely empty of counter-terrorists. Free plant coming in, and the round should follow. You can already see that FaceCrack has no interest. He's moving back towards the T spawn.
Surprise Flit's coming over this direction with the stick. That's a very powerful weapon to carry over to the next round if you're a CT team. But he does pretty quickly backpedal out of there. FaceCrack has also found a stick over towards Playground, so these are some big, meaty weapons to be bringing over.
Absolutely. Massively powerful on the CT side. We can just hold angles at range.
Yep. Basically gets you to bypass that whole Augner if that happened. You basically get to use kind of the same thing, but even better. So, indeed, as you noted, it's going to be nice for holding those spots.
That being said, though, it is minor victories in what's been a bit of a landslide of a start in favor of Heroic.
Yeah. Their money is so good now, too, Vince. I feel like there's not been a round yet where they've lost more than 2 members. There's been several rounds where they survived with 4. So they are all in the 5 digits in their bank accounts after the purchase. Again, we're seeing some good starts at times from Forze in these rounds. I mean, they said Z-Power had an opening pick that round. They've had an opening pick in the past, but just not able to capitalize on it just yet. But hopefully now that they're starting to get their money back in order, here soon they'll be able to really pose some real resistance.
The choice of Heroic, of course, going pretty comfortably in their favor, but here is the first tactical time out. They're deciding, let's not let this one slip too far. Let's get a grasp of this sooner rather than later.
And again, Overpass has been a map that this Heroic team has enjoyed. Helped them qualify for the EPL finals with that Overpass win over Sprout. Also helped them qualify for Star Ladder with some Overpass wins over Prosto and Tricked. So definitely feeling at home here thus far. Forze has yet to really show us much, but here they're back to the full buy. Maybe they can finally piece something together. They do have this aggression and connector.
Oh, Starman, he's not messing about, going straight in. The ruthless aggression going to yield the 1 kill. There is a kill back in the form of Flit, and the SG being used against the terrorists. Culling the Meek, trying to shepherd his team into their first round. And Snappy, the only player to stand against them with a measly 19 health. He is being flanked and to pick up the AWP.
That was a really good play from Forze. Had a really stout B defense setup. I think they're just reading into the tendencies of Heroic to go that side. Were pushed into connector and had many players positioned in the site, and they win out those exchanges. Now Z-Power will put the finishing touches, you'd have to imagine. He does catch that kill onto Snappy. So finally, the Russians are on the board, Vince. Took a bit, but they've greeted us with their presence.
The magic of the timeout. It works so often. When it doesn't, it's a bit awkward, though. But yeah, we did highlight the importance of the SGs. It wasn't quite at the range we were anticipating. It was up close, and the spray down was on point, and the easiest of kills for Z-Power just at the end. I appreciate the effort, though, from Heroic. That is going to make Forze use a lot of utilities starting off these rounds because they have to respect the potential of another fast play. That nade did so much damage. Z-Power and Jerry get wrecked by it.
Yeah, that was more of a Hellfire missile than a grenade, it felt like. And now, Estetag, I thought he had the jump on Almazer, but no, not going to be the case. Another opening pick goes Forze's way here on this A side of the map.
Another one. They just can't get a foothold into round 7. And we were talking about their economy being booming. It is starting to deplete a little bit on a couple players. Overall, though, they will be good to buy the next round regardless of what happens here.
We're starting to see Forze finally capitalize on those opening picks, Vince, and kind of maintain man advantage into the mid-round and start kind of fading back. And they've already, you know, forced utility out of Heroic just to control this area. Now they're a little bit limited on the execute itself. They still do have the smokes for stairs and for bank, and they have a couple of flashes to work their way in, but Forze already has 3 players entrenched towards this side of the map, and there's no need for them to budge. Not with the setup that Jerry and FaceCrack have on the opposite side, so they have to try to tear through these 3 players. It's all going to come down to whether or not Stalin can find this pick, or whether the SIGs can come through.
Again, time is of the essence. 25 seconds to push the site, get entries. As you say, with 3 players stacked here, it's looking very unlikely. And Snappy going to take the first contact. Has been successful. Solid flashbang to avoid the crossover. But Flit still using the SG, still carving out some kills. And C-Power on the cross will finalize onto Borup. Stefan's going to try and bait them out into the open. And actually gets wallbanged by C-Power from Bank.
There you go. Z-Power showing you why he's one of the best players in this tournament thus far, why he's been one of the main talking points of this Forze squad throughout this year. Having some impact moments right there. So we watch through the film. That's a big catch right there. I feel like that really slowed down the whole bomb planning process. And then, yeah, that's just brilliant there on this down. And so into round number 8, still fully bought is both sides. Both economies are fragile, but Heroic the ones that are in the more vulnerable position. A loss here would likely mean a save and a chance for Forze to really close the gap on the scoreboard, but that's a great way to open if you're Heroic. The utility damage has been so good on this B side of the map from them.
It's the same nade again.
Oh, absolutely,
they did
yeah.
the exact same thing last round.
Indeed. It's not broke, don't fix it, Vince. It's one of the things we've kind of seen develop on Overpass over this year is like some of these different nade stacks you're seeing on this B site. But Almazer, he does have a bit of a tricky position. I'm kind of curious. It's all going to come down to timing, though. And indeed, he does find out down in the connector. That is a great way to get yourself back in the round. And now he controls this connector. It's going to cause a real thorn in the side of Heroic. They're going to have to be a lot more cautious how they transition from site to site.
Flashbang not going to be followed up. But Almazer's position is a solid one. He will start to worry about being encircled, though. There's no one watching mid. So they could push down connector behind him, and that's why he just has this little doubt in the back of his mind as to which angle to cover. Positioning here does mean that the terrorist would have to walk all the way down. May have heard the door closing. Molotov's also been dropped out. In the meanwhile, Almazer doing so much work, but eventually will fall.
That's great for Heroic to be able to reclaim that territory, get the man advantage back. But now S-Attack's in danger. He opens the door straight to FaceCrack, but it is traded at the very least. And B's now open for the taking. It's going to come to Z-Power. Can he clutch that smoke? Will block his first angle he was hoping to use. Actually, okay, there it is.
Yeah, the first smoke was on the site. The second one for Heaven. Z-Power drops out, doesn't get picked up on the cross from Cadian, who misses his shot. Out he comes. He's baiting himself, though. The ultimate team player throws himself, puts himself on the end of the fishing line, and it works out for them.
It got a little bit scary for just a moment when Z-Power jumps through the smoke, gets that first kill, but obviously when they push together and you're using AWP, you can't really spray transfer an op, Vince. So there you have it, Heroic. Some bumps on the road in that round, but eventually handle that whole connector pressure and turn it into a victory. 6-2 now the score. They avoid that situation where they might have been saving this round with that victory. Economy is still obviously fragile for both sides, though, so this round could be really huge in swinging the momentum of it. Again, we have Almazer playing this aggression into connector. This duel between him and Stalin has been really dictating the pace of these early round situations, it seems.
Yeah, unfortunately for Almazer, even though he did have a lot of presence in connector, no one else really helped him out. No one else got any kills, so yeah, it fell on deaf ears. Almazer.
Not this time.
Not going to work out. Lots of damage, though. Stavin down to 12. Going to get repeat. Out comes Z-Power. And the call must have came through. Look, I've dinked him. Just one bullet and he's gone.
You have to imagine that's the case. I mean, the confidence to peak with the USP against the rifle, you have to have that information. Flit, though, is in a tricky spot. Will they check him or not? He's got the UMP. It's close range. He's got a chance to really do some damage. There's 2. Does get traded back by Snappy, though.
Z-Power again. Right place at the right time. Bomb goes down with Snappy. And Borup has the arduous task of going to retrieve the bomb and trying to clutch with 40 seconds to play with. And it looks like he will get plucked off on the cross from Z-Power. And there we have it, the AWP in perfect position. You've got to say, Z-Power's had a really good read of the game thus far here on Overpass.
Indeed, he does, up to 11 kills already in the 9s round played, so really getting those numbers. helping out Jerry, who's busy doing his best Daniel Craig impression on the bottom of the scoreboard. Not the agent that you want to be, but that's okay because it's still early on. He still has a chance to recover, and he's had some of his teammates like Flit and Z-Power, who are, again, kind of ranked in the top 3 for rating in this tournament, showing you why. Like, they've been very impactful, particularly Flit. They're just not getting checked in that corner of bathrooms. And now here's where Heroic suffer and have to use just pistols.
It's not even just the 007. He's got 1 ADR. We're in round 10.
That can't be real. Is that real?
It's real, dude. It's real.
1 ADR, no way.
And that hurts. That hurts my soul.
Can we see that again? Can we flick the Jerry?
1 ADR, dude. 1.
You
You really do hate to see it, Tony. You really do.
Oh, I'm sorry. Someone says funniest Newcastle Football Club season,
Bruh.
isn't it?
Bruh. That's too far.
I mean, you are dressed nice for their funeral today, so I figured I'd throw them a shout out. Anyway, let's get into this.
Can't work under these conditions, neither can Almeza. Desert Eagle to the face, gonna put him down in one of the worst buys that Heroic have had, mustering together a force buy of pistols. They've already claimed 2, and plenty of time to play with their food on the A site, throwing down smokes and flashes. They are gonna be following this up. There's nothing fake about this. Z-Power's gonna get forced out. All the CTs are here to deal with him. He's already landed 1 wall bang beforehand. Face crack wildly spraying up through the smoke. And stabbing with his Desert Eagle with 2 in quick succession. And Z-Power may as well just get out of there. Their chances of 1v4 clutching with these crossfires established are so low, and they're all just gonna funnel in like lemmings. But it's Z-Power that's gonna be slaughtered.
That's one of those big rounds where if you're Forze and you're playing from behind, you're trying to grind your way back into the game on a map that has been kind of tough for you in the LAN environment. Even their online result has been mixed. You got to really take advantage of rounds like this, but they just couldn't stand again, showing you why he's not too far behind Flit and Z-Power when it comes to the player rankings of this tournament. He has been so good every single game again. I think he's one of the leading MVP candidates in these playoffs. That young 17-year-old Dane made noise for Fragsters last year, showed you he had a lot of potential. Now he's realizing it here on Heroic these last few months. And now it is going to be Forze, just using that AWP and M4 and just a few pistols. They're in for a lot of trouble.
Already at this level at such a young age, the future is so very bright.
It just seems like there's an endless pool of talent in Denmark.
Connector, also bright off the flames.
Curse them, of course.
Glistening in the eyes of Z-Power. He's gone in for 2. He was the last beacon of hope, and he's going to fall down. Was pretty much forced into that peak. You understand why he's gone. The audacious no-scope. But has he done enough damage for the rest of Forza to come in and clean this up?
It's very possible. There's 3 Deagles sitting out there, and Jerry still has that M4. He is one of the B players still on short. But once they start putting presence A, unless we see Bird Up keep eyes on Connector, he could be a flanker that could come very quickly. It'll all come down to timing on that, while we do see Heroic just kind of slowly checking their corners here as they come up long A. Flit may eventually spot them. I think he is jumping by the APC to try to spot this position. And oh, there he is. Cadian spots him. Oh, tries to hit the shot. That's a tough one, but the information's there now. This is where this flank from Jerry is going to be pivotal.
Tough as he actually jumped slightly earlier than before, so it was a millimeter off. Position now known, 15 seconds. You've got to get a move on here, Heroic. There's a beautifully placed Molotov down in long. 10 seconds. They've got to get across to the site. Someone's going to need to cover on the Optimus side. Molotov has been deployed. They're going to go for the plant behind the box. That is a suicidal attempt. And Forze going to take the round off indecision. It was such a strange round at the end. With the CTs hang on for dear life.
Yeah, I feel like they're getting a little bit too cautious in these late rounds. I mean, we've talked about the clock, I feel like, a few times, and it hasn't really punished them yet, but it does that round. They needed a smoke or something. Like, the problem is they had all their focus coming up long A, and they didn't really clear out bathrooms properly, so they were kind of too scared to plant for mid. But then they couldn't really plant for bank either because that wasn't cleared. I mean, they didn't get past the bot. There's literally a guy sitting on the opposite side of default plant zone. So, again, you either needed to go faster so that you have more time to clear that all out, or you needed to, like, use a smoke to plant inside of. They didn't do that. They used their smokes towards stairs and bank. So there was a whole lot of kind of chaos there. I do feel like there's maybe some miscomms or just not being on the same page. Whatever the case may be, timing finally cost them a round.
A calamity of errors, I would say. I mean, Z-Power got his kills very early on in the round in Connector.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of waiting around and toing and froing and feeling out. But Heroic do concede. Forze into a bye. It's not a great one, though. You can still see the signs of the attrition they've been through economically.
Yeah, certainly. Both teams are kind of in safe position if they lose this round, so it could be Heroic jumping up to a bigger lead. Our Forze finally closing that gap and getting this closer to a tied position. We do see a little bit of a change from Heroic here. They're using Cadian's AWP towards short B very quickly this time. Not the slow default approach we've seen in the past. Definitely trying to change things up just a slight amount.
Bullets rattling in the distance. Eerie silence on the battlefield for the time being. The question is, who is the first player to find the pick? Cadian is that man. He breaks the deadlock.
I think he did spot the shoulder of Face Crack as well, so he knows that there's another target in that direction. Jerry is trying to reinforce as best as he can, crossing over towards the pillar, but Cadian just content to hold this angle. He knows he has the edge and still a good amount of time left to work with. That as each second passes, Cadian might get more and more eager, especially now that Attack's gone down the opposite side. They have to focus everything now on this B attack. Here comes the utility.
Still just Cadian that's at the point of the spear. He needs other players to push in. They're not going to be letting this come down to time. 30 seconds more than enough. Face crack UMP though is shredding, ripping through faces alongside Jerry. Had a slow start, but now he's stepping up. Gonna get flashed out. Cadian meets his opposite number of C power, and another round falls the way of the CTs.
Yeah, I think it just kind of comes down to the fact that when that kill breaks out into S-Attack and bathrooms, you can kind of see that the gears are turning in Forze's head. They kind of realize what's happening. They know that, hey, the op's taking picks at short B. That's not normal. It's probably going to be something at B. You see Jerry and Face Crack kind of pair up together at pillar and up close on Monster. The Shadow betrays the first player out. So really good defense there from Forze. They're starting to really find their footing in this half now, starting to make this a close contest, and now they have what should be a freebie. Heroic have really nothing to work with here except for 2 P250s and 2 flashbangs. This is one of those rounds that you just should be mopping up with ease.
Yeah, get out the dustpan and brush.
I take offense to that.
Ah, didn't even mean that, to be fair.
Surely.
So these 2 flashbangs, as you said, the golden ticket, but Jerry is going to try and snap that in half. Still 1 flash remains for Cadian. They are starting to make a move up short. Meanwhile, though, there is definitely going to be connector presence if and when Flip decides to try and rotate round the back. The timing not going to favour Burrup. And it seems like this has gone from slim to none in terms of chance now for the Danes.
Yeah, this is like a real Blue Whale versus Krill story. Not even David and Goliath. There's just no possible way really for Heroic, already losing 2 members, little firepower. Cadian's already down to 13 HP. Just the cleanup crew is Forze, pushing this to 6-7 any moment now.
So the clean sweep, minimal damage inflicted, maximum guns will be retained. We're getting towards the dying embers of this half now.
Kind of want to see what the adjustment for Heroic's going to be. I mean, I've watched their games in the past. Granted, there's been very few of them with this new lineup. They really favor the faster paced plays a lot of the time, but I feel like a lot of these rounds, they've been a bit more cautious. They've been a bit more kind of bleeding the clock into the last, 20 or so seconds. And so I want to see that pace pick up, Vince. I want to see that explosiveness that Sound and company can bring to this team.
Well, they're picking up. They're going straight in across short. There are so many grenades being extinguished by Molotovs. Burrup with 2 with his AK-47. It's only Jerry that's really mounted any kind of defense. But he's bought up enough time now for C-Power to get in position from heaven. Another smoke onto the side. Here's Jerry. He's landing more with the SG. He's not done just yet. The flashbang neutralizing the vision of Cadian. And now Snappy, 36 HP, has time to burn. Molotov put down on short. He's going to retrieve the bomb. There's actually a way for him to escape here, as Almazer wasn't quite in the right position. He's going to go straight up to A and get the bomb planted.
That was so weird. Did you not see him just staring at that guy for like 2 full seconds before they shot each other? That was wild, and this wildness is going to keep on going because he's been able to bring this bomb to the A site. He's gotten some time to get in a new position. Can he actually pull it all the way out? This would be incredible. We can't talk about how this round was their chance, but it's limited now.
To make matters worse, they're both coming through the same side. They've got a smoke that can maybe get Snappy out into the open. The bomb's not planted ideally for him. He's took the first kill. Gonna gobble it down, and now C-Power gonna try and defuse in amongst the smoke. It's not even for him. He's going for the full defuse. Oh my God, he got it! Snappy is ruining that missed opportunity right now.
That's the only reaction you really can have if you're Snappy, is a bit of a facepalm. He did so well throughout that round to kind of dig back in. The entries were going great. Burrup flies through, finds 2 entries. You think, okay, this is a done deal. But then the comeback from Jerry and company defending, really nicely done to get back into the round. But Snappy, he was that last lifeline. He did get that bomb over to A, and he did get that first kill, but just could not get the spray to connect fast enough on the diffuser. And so now the gap closes. He just has to do a mental reset now. There's nothing you can really say about that.
I almost feel like that smoke onto Dumpster threw him off. He's like, he's surely not going for the full defuse when I've just killed his teammate, he knows I'm long. That extra second of indecision cost so dearly. 7-7, or whichever way you spin this does. 7 rounds on the T side. However, pass is a solid outcome.
Well, it's one of those things where how he planted, it wasn't obviously planted for where he went, but he was trying to use it as kind of a mind game because he had low HP, so he knew he had to get the jump on somebody, and that's the way you do it. You kind of plant in a spot that makes him not really think about long. That got him his first kill, so it's all going well, but in the end, that's where it can come back to burn you, when you have to kind of just sprint towards the bomb and someone's got a kit and they stick it. Obviously, you can't think they will stick it, as you said, but that's just the mind games that go on in clutches like that.
Ouch.
That is indeed a great grenade.
Well, as they say, pros don't fake. And C-Power going to be performing consistently throughout this half. He has been incredible. 15 kills, pardon me, with 114 ADR.
Again, he is that kind of star of this team, that offer that people thought maybe you might see on a bigger team someday. Definitely been keeping his team in the hunt in this first half, even when times got tough. He might even be able to get the lead back for them.
Only 2 smokes remaining with a minute left, though. 1 flashbang and 1 Molotov. Heroic have really depleted so much already.
But you know what they're going for. They're definitely going for it. They have no presence towards Long B anymore. They don't even really have presence short, but this up-close bathroom setup is going to be really a big problem.
C-Power misses his shot. That leaves Almeister all alone. C-Power's gonna flash out aggressive, but Cadian just clicks him anyway. Flick gonna try and take the call next up. He goes down, it's 1 by 1. Forze walking into their demises.
Yeah, that bait and switch up in the bathrooms did not work at all. No kills have rung out from that, or really throughout the rest of this round. Now it's all on Jerry and FaZe to try to pull this one back somehow in a 2v5.
Time is low. Can Jerry just land that perfect spray? Not quite. Burrup down to 13, but still alive. Face crack. Next player up, slight gap in the smoke. He's got the first player, but there's Snappy to return fire. Heroic will lead at halftime after a mini comeback. We'll find out what happens in the second half after this short break.
Yeah, I said, where you
coined it as a slobber knocker, and so far it has lived up to that. A real back and forth skirmish between the two teams. It could have gone much more one-sided to Heroic, but Forze, they battled back to the end.
Indeed they did. Now we're going to see if they can keep it up here on their very aggressive nature to T-side. We'll talk about that a bit later, but right now I need to focus on this big pistol push. And Burrup said, I'm out of here. I don't want any of this. Can't blame him.
Look for the intel. He was playing alone, and now it allows them to retreat a couple players from B to come back up to A. Burrup is just having a quick look, jumping up and down. Now going to hit the flashbangs over. Smoke to his left-hand side. Those rotations didn't come in fast enough. Face crack going all the way down to the staircase behind the dumpster. That overextension could cost them so dearly. They're now lacking a player on the retake. Burrup running out of bullets, going to be chased down by Flit, but he's going to be repelled. Burrup somehow, some way survives. And Heroic, they will get the second pistol. That was such a weird mess.
It was indeed one of those things, but I think that the word that is synonymous with Forze is chaos, and you're going to see that, I feel like, a lot through this half. And I think Heroic know what they're up against. They know that they have to be very careful. They have to get information early. They can't leave themselves stranded, where they can just get swarmed on and traded. They have to use their numbers and just be smart about things, and they definitely were in that round. Burrup just kind of being that early alert system, getting away, buying time, getting the rotation where it needed to be. And that's going to go ahead and tip them up just a bit more. 9-7 is our score as we head into this next round. We are going to see AK out of face crack. This is an interesting kind of... Usually you don't see a buy on second round without a bomb plant. This is odd.
Almost a raid boss kind of mentality. This does leave Jerry in a bit of an awkward spot economically, but can they put the AK to use? Face crack has been tasked with that difficult dilemma, and he's not going to really do anything with it. The MP9 ripping through the armorless players, and it's a clean sweep. They went for the risk. Doesn't pay off. They're still going to have money, though.
Yeah, except for the guy who bought the AK. Everyone else is kind of in a decent position, but I'm not sure if because of that, if they'll kind of change up their buying schedule. It looks like we are going to see the AWP come out for Z-Power, Sig out for Flit. Rifles out. It's just really face crack with that Deagle. The repercussions of that AK in the previous round not doing anything. And again, just expect to see Forze be really, really fast-paced. They really love fast towards A. They're not as heavy towards B, and they're not going to nearly bleed the clock as much as Heroic did. So that explosive playstyle is going to be on display, though they are been slowed down this round due to some utility damage. But now they start taking towards the fountain.
Yeah, Molotov put them on the back foot. They didn't want to use one of their two smokes to extinguish it either. That's valuable utility they need for the latter stages of the round.
Yeah, had a B stack early from Heroic because they were just trying to pressure short B, get early information. Again, they're kind of trusting Cadian this time around to be the solo A player. They just want to really pressure out. They had two players, though, that were kind of spamming wood, and now are starting to backtrack towards the A side. It's going to be Esatag and Snappy, who are going to be the guys that are kind of more of the rotators on this team, while Burrup and Stown, they have such a stout B defense, Vince. I mean, that's the big thing you have to worry about in this Heroic team. Those two players are so skilled, and they defend B so well.
A real nightmare to be playing off against. Forze taking their sweet time to get up on the short side of A on the banana. Face crack going to be stuck with the Deagle as his teammates fall around him. Esatag is holding the line. Cadian's going to help him out. They're going to line up for his M4, and Cadian knocks them down. Heroic continue to apply the pressure.
Yeah, their lead is starting to build now. They've won the first true rifle round of the half. Money's low for Forze. A chance for Heroic to find possibly a free 12th before we can really see the reinforcements come in for Forze. Just some CZs and a couple of Deags, the 150-50s, triple nades for some type of nade stack, perhaps.
Same Molotovs again.
I thought that's going to be a constant from Heroic. I think that's just a decision that they know how fast Forze like to be at A. They want to slow that down each and every round as long as they can afford it.
It's completely worthwhile.
No, absolutely. Again, this is that 1-4 opening towards A that Forze favor more often than not. They don't like the 3-1-1 a lot like most teams do. But Jerry actually does find a pick on the Burrup at Sandbags. That does make the round a little bit more interesting.
He can't retrieve the gun, though, which is a bit of an issue. As he expected correctly, there'd be more players watching short, making sure that wasn't the case. Cadian with the AWP, going to put it to use. Almeza on the receiving end. Cadian going to smoke out bathroom so he can actually go for a peek. A little bit more of a thin angle, and he has Esatag just behind him, so they're all reversing from the last round. Cadian, another one, center mass. Jerry never stood a chance. They're pushing on long. This timing could maybe catch Cadian out, but no, Snappy's up here. A great read, but not the greatest of sprays.
Yeah, did have a labored one on that 1v1 clutch last half as well, but it's all good. Unless Flit's actually going to do this. Wait a minute.
This is very doable. Wasn't far off that headshot on S-Tag either. They can breathe a collective sigh of relief.
Yep, and now Forze going to be able to buy back in. Everyone's going to have rifles this time, and Z-Power will have that AWP. We're going to keep seeing that incendiary on that playgrounds approach. It's going to be the big question. Again, that's a hard counter to Forze's 4-1A style that they like to implement, so they're going to have to probably make some adjustments or burn a smoke to extinguish if they want to keep up that speed.
Dual purpose as well, because now S-Tag, realizing that they have been quite slow, can start to take positions like this on balloons.
This is so suffocating, Vince.
Exactly, constricting them.
This is just Heroic really reading into Forze's game plan. This is where you know that there's been some demo watching done and some prep. Like, this is really well constructed from Heroic. Unfortunately, Almazer does eventually break through, gets the quick 5-on-4 for Forze, so their initial defense has faded just a bit, but still plenty of pack behind this punch. As Borup clears out short B.
That is the other side of taking mid-control. Eventually, if you don't have connector, you have to be very cognizant of being flanked. And in doing so, you can give your backup for free. But Heroic have Borup in short.
Yeah, it's going to be a big monster push, though, and a lot of the CTs have drifted towards A. They're trying to cover mid because Cadian's just committed to a long A peak. And so depending on the timing here, Borup can be in a lot of trouble, but he's staying safe and short at the very least and kind of holds that routed for retaking.
Oh no, with this door being open, there's going to be no early warning system. The two players could be moving past each other. Borup wants desperately to go and help his teammates out. If he drops down, Almazer will hear him, but he's going to go into connector instead. Finds Almazer. Going to be able to trade across to the AK-47 as well if he so chooses. Decides against it. There is a boost up just on the backside of Graffiti. Post plant. Players have been spotted. Flip will return fire. Borup now going to make moves and inroads up through short. Again, trying to constrict and starve away Forze from positioning. Z-Power's taking damage from multiple angles. Every kill the T's get is being counted instantly, but here comes Facecrack. Kills go his way, as will the round. The flank too strong.
Man, that's tough on Heroics. I thought they played that so well. They were aware of the gaps in their defense, and they had them covered by Borup's positioning at short B and his check of connector. Then they started trading really well from that point forward, but it's just Facecrack on that short flank. Kind of just throws a wrench in everything. Again, I have to kind of give credit to Heroic for playing it smart, but it's just Forze making big plays. This time it's Facecrack who does it. Oh, you can even see now the effects of that incendiary. Even though they didn't throw it, Forze was still waiting for it. It still keeps them slowed down. And you didn't even have to spend the money to do it. That's such great conditioning that they've done to their opponent there.
Pavlov's Dog CS edition. S-Tag off angle. Not one you're anticipating. And the first 3 kills go the way of the Danes. What an answer after taking a loss in the last round.
It's big brain plans going on here from Heroic throughout this game. I love that whenever you can watch a match and just so clearly tell that the research has been done, that the counters are out in play, and that you're able to benefit from them. And it forces Forze to have to really dig deeper now. You know, they can't just get away with their, you know, A heavy aggressive style, maybe the occasional beast, but they have to make that adjustment. And this is where those hours that the Des was talking about, that they were doing that extra practice, needs to come into play. They probably knew Overpass was going to come through, knowing Heroic's map pool and knowing what they were going to have to ban. So they need to be thinking about what that next step is. But maybe this 2v5, maybe this is a spark you can create if they somehow pull this off.
Well, with the economy fairly low for Heroic, even if they don't win this round, if they can take some guns away, could it be enough? A hefty investment with double ops came through into the round, but time, again, is running. Yes, Cadian going to get slow peaked. Never a great idea against Orpers, and Cadian continues to hit. No misses in this round for him.
Yeah, good to see him playing well. I know he had a bit of a quieter day yesterday. They were really relying on Stown and Borup to be kind of the big breadwinners to get them into the playoffs. But Cadian's a guy who has been playing pretty well for this team. When you look at some of the EPL group play, some of the online qualifiers, you've seen right at home, he gets to focus just purely on opping, doesn't have to call. I'm sure he's a secondary voice, but he really gets to focus more on being that fragger. He's doing great work. And here's those incendiaries again, Vince.
Only a flashbang can be mustered, and it's 1 of 5. Now 4 remain. It was a half buy. I say that, Jerry is down to $700. Pretty costly half-buy.
That's very true. Jerry is also the one, I think, that bought that AK early as well, in that kind of opening, that second round of the half. So he's been behind the whole time, really, economically.
Cadian smoking out Banana to try and help his teammate out on long. Another flick, another kill, and another flashbang. They're just walking in one by one. They need to group together. They need to move as a cohesive force. Now Snappy has made the move up from B to A. And Forze have been put down another peg. They are now on their last lifeline.
Something needs to change here for them. Either they need to go for the faster-paced B play, or they need to extinguish that incendiary and get out into Fountain faster. They need to put some kind of pressure on Heroic. Heroic are dominating the map in every direction. That's what's so smart about their play. Because they incendiary A like that, they limit the amount of players they need to play A. They can triple stack B, they can double push short, and literally Forze is getting suffocated all across the map. They literally have no room to work with. But here's maybe where we could see a difference. They finally go really heavy towards B.
They have, but again, they don't have connector control. Nice attack. Is playing in wait. That's a beautiful entry, though. That could be the fire they need to light up to get some inspiration, to get some momentum. But Cadian switch positions again. They're a step ahead of Forze every turn. Flip finally with some entries. Something for Forze to get excited about. It's still a 2-on-2 post-plant. Grenades firing in. Flick's been obliterated. He still hasn't got the bomb planted. He's now going to come down. Z-Power's missed his Flick. Flick in the smoke, and I have to try and scamper away to the sanctuary of the water. Is perched up at a different angle, looking for those headshots. Now backing away ever so slowly. Grenade starting to fire through. He starts a Molotov, a flash, and a smoke to his name. You can hear the smokes being deployed on the site. They both have kits, no more flashes. Gonna be holding down on the defuse. This is all on Flit. The spray's off. That should be the round going. No, they actually came off the bomb for a millisecond.
Oh, the
Easily
Molotov.
throwing in the Molotov now as well. Is going to connect in time. It is. It could be very well the burn kill and the round going the way of Forze.
Oh my goodness, dude. I can't believe that actually worked. They were doing so well on Heroic, man. Especially that counter utility they threw when the bomb was being planted. Those nades, that incendiary, it's paused that bomb plant for a bit. It gave them more time to position for the retake. And you see the gears turning. You really feel like it's going to map point for Heroic, but one surefire Molotov that got held on to. You don't see the GG Molotov very often on this map. That's normally kind of train territory, but man, oh man, that investment won them around.
Ouch. Z-Power instantly gets legged. 16 HP. Not too far off either from Almaze's perspective. He's had a bit of a rough rodeo. Burrup gonna take the reins. Ooh, he's been bucked by Almaze. Throws him right out of the round. Molotov into short to stop any boost from coming into play.
I feel like what you witnessed there is the difference maker in how every other round has played out this half and where you're finally seeing Forze get some success. They're finally getting some territory. They're finally getting some opening picks, getting some control. But now this re-aggressor mass attack and down. The bait switch on the sandbags. Oh my goodness, it's looking like map point, Vince.
Unless Face Crack has something truly special up his sleeve. He does at least have control of the bomb now. And time. We can try and get some of these CTs to go across towards the A site. Maybe, just maybe, he can find some effective trades. Now starting to make a move up Monster. The crowd believes this is it. They don't have any faith in Face Crack's abilities in this 1-on-4. A couple players have moved away though. Face Crack slowly lumbering his way up, has spotted Stavin, but the same can be said on the reverse. 6 map points for Heroic on their choice.
Only 2 rounds allowed this half by Heroic, and both on an island. There has been no consistency here for Forze. Again, the counter utility, the game plan of Heroic, it has really just put Forze's aggressive style to a screeching halt, and they have not really had the tactical depth to make big adjustments to deal with this short beat pressure and deal with this utility towards Playground. It's just not been there. Now they just say, screw it, we're not even going to go towards Playground. We're just going to 5-man towards B. But again, the utility here has been great also for Heroic.
Straight in through Monster. Stavin claims the first of what could be the final round of Overpass. Jerry around the back though with the MAC-10. And Burke continues to spray, continues to pick up kills. It's back and forth though, and Forze actually making this a possibility. They've hemorrhaged HP. Face Crack down to a measly 21. But the timing in favor of C-Power. He's had so much impact with the AWP. Speaking of which, Cadian's missed his one, and maybe only hope of getting this round back underway for the Danes and Forze. They're going to hit double digits.
Can Stim finally be able to brute force Heroic out of that aggressive short B setup and actually be able to get into that site? It's something that is a rarity, it seems, for them. A commodity of sorts, but it comes through there. I think the biggest part of that round that was Z-Power's forward push towards Graffiti. Getting that one kill, putting Katie in the 1v2, that was really what won them the round. Now they need to march 5 more forward for an overtime, which I don't think we've seen yet this entire tournament. Every game has been decided in regulation. We've had some close ones. We've had some go all 30, but not the extra pit. But Almazer's trying to put his best foot forward to get him there. Does find that opening on Borup's aggression.
Economy is low as well, so they're one step closer to the reset. Unfortunate timing for Snappy. Still actually connected a headshot. So Flit, lucky to survive. 2 smokes and a flashbang. The only allies that Heroic have in terms of nades. Another glorious performance by Snaven, all things considered.
Yeah, I think he's, what, 25 kills, over 100 ADR. Again, just MVP candidate all the way, and he might finish it off.
They're now going to start to push behind that kill. Cadian caught in no man's land. And will be machine gunned down by Almeza, dead before he hits the ground. Essetag going to be perching up for some exit frags at best. You have to have an eye on the big picture here, Heroic. There's no point rushing this. This is how you let Forze get back into the game.
There's also just no economy here for Heroic anymore, Vince, and this is where Forze can really start piecing together that comeback. They'll find 11 here, probably going to get 12 next round because Heroic will not have much outside of this M4 that Essetag is holding on to here outside long B, unless he actually gets sniffed out. There are a couple of players giving chase, but he's got a good angle, so I feel like he at least gets the first one.
You may let him pass. It's not an angle you're going to check. He wants as many kills as possible. He wants to convert this as much as he can. Big brain plays by Essetag. Patience of virtue. May do more damage. The bomb helps him out. Jerry has been sprung. An AK will go through to the CTs, but still Heroic don't have much to buy behind it.
No, not at all. Just the one gun on Essetag. He's got the armor as well. He's going to buy a couple of pieces of utility. Cadian's bought a taser, Vince. You know what I feel about tasers. I am a big fan. Don't shame me.
And it is Cadian again. He was picking up quite a few of them. I think he even got a kill, the taser on Inferno. So many grenades. But there's not much really behind it from the perspective of Heroic. So Forze not going to respect and will push in. The Bloodlust has descended. Minimal damage really inflicted back to Forze, so Jerry can just stay in position. Easy kills, easy round. One step closer to overtime, but
Cadian's committed, Vince.
Is he going to get his Zeus skill?
I feel like it's possible. Come on, please. Just give this to me. Give me this one thing. I don't know. That angle's not looking good.
Yeah, Flip made wide peek it.
Oh, it's like a landmine. Touch it. Touch the fire. Stove's hot. Come on. Please. Yes. No, I don't think it's going to happen, is it? I don't know why I need this to happen, but for some reason, the way my brain's working, I want to see it.
Flit is looking for Cadian to be scurrying away towards the long side. I don't think he's going to overextend anytime soon. You don't want to give an AK away. He is by himself for the time being. Now he does have Z-Power coming in. Cadian shows his hand, but there is Z-Power. Shuts him down. No Zeus kill for you, Dust.
Well, it's always next time, Vince. Sometimes patience, you just gotta wait.
Till the right time, right?
Yep.
Save yourself for someone special.
I guess. Never mind. Just gonna let that one. I'm gonna let that one slide. Probably for the best. Probably best for my career not to say anything to that.
The thing is, I know exactly what's coming up in your head.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm sure chat will take care of it for me. I'm sure there's gonna be plenty of spams if you're part of the No Majors Club that you're aware of. Oh, here we go. A little quad stack, Vince. Oh, wait. No. Okay.
Okay then. That just happened.
Yeah, that's not a good sign, Vince. You really do hate to see that. I mean, I don't think anyone likes to see that. It really is the one time where the phrase "you hate to see it," I think, is just going to be great. It's apparently Cadian's screen turned off. You do kind of need the screen to play Counter-Strike. It'd be pretty wild if you could play without it. I don't know. It'd be kind of a special case.
I think that's known as an aimbot or spin bot.
That, or you just are really good at, maybe you're like Daredevil and you can do this weird like echolocation type stuff.
What, through sound towards your monitor? That would be some next level.
I mean, Matt Murdock was able to do it, so I don't know.
He's not real.
I mean, he could read his phone.
He's not real.
He is indeed not real. Unfortunately, it's just not a real show at all anymore. Curse you,
Feels bad.
Marvel. At least we get Spider-Man back.
At least Iron Fist got cancelled.
That show was definitely really bad, wasn't it?
I'm willing to allow Daredevil to get cancelled just so Iron Fist is.
But then once you throw Punisher into it, and that's also gone.
Okay, that's a feels
yeah,
bad.
that is a real feels bad. You know what else feels bad?
Cadian's monitor?
Yeah, that is. It's a good one. It's all this kind of a bummer, man. We had a good game going, the momentum's flowing, we're having a great cast, everything's looking great, and then you just have this unfortunate pause. Like it's like ice in the kicker. But we're back. We're back real fast, actually. This is nice. That was not too bad.
Got a question if it does hold the momentum, a little bit of Forze coming back into this, because they were looking hot.
Oh, they're gonna go for it still.
Here we go.
And yeah.
And rip.
They were just making sure there wasn't a short B push.
There we go.
Yeah.
Here it comes, ladies and gents. We're gonna have the boost. Will it yield a kill? Solid teamwork. The train has blocked them.
What a troll.
Oh, he's missed!
Oh, no! Now they know they can push A. They know that, oh, okay, like we can hold 4 position at A now because they've committed so much resources to that stack.
Well, fortunately, though, they haven't pushed playground or balloons. It's more of a bathroom occupation. 3 players here. Brooke mixing it up again.
Yeah, this is very different. This triple stack inside the bathrooms is something that Forze has not really seen yet. And again, this is another counter to 4-1A. Like just having all these corners covered, all the trade fragging potential to trap that has been sprung it. Face crack though, able to get the cheese and get out of there, but it's not for Snappy. He's found the mice.
This is where the triple stack is so deadly, so very strong. You get the first, you're not anticipating more players. Just about scampers away. That spray wasn't too far off him with the AK-47. The damage has been done. 2 kills away from securing the map. It was back and forth, as the first half was, to be fair. C-Power gonna take the initiative, flashes out. Cadian perched up on back of the truck, may have been spotted. Needs to be very wary of that AWP-wielding C-Power, but Jerry's gone down alongside him. C-Power's missed his first and only chance to clutch it and heroic get across the finish line. 1-0 in the lead.
Yeah, it was a close game. Look at the scoreboard. I feel like Heroic are always in control. They had the 5-0 start in the first half, the 4-0 start in the second half, so always a hot start. They also just seemed to have a great read of Forze's game plan. They had the hard counters in place, and you particularly saw that all throughout the second half, the way they used their utility towards playground, the way that they pressured short B simultaneously. They did not have so much space to Forze. That's how you slow down an aggressive team. You take that space away before they can start actually going for the push, and before they can start trying to get in your face. You stop them right at the starting line. And I feel like that's what Heroic did all day long, and I feel like Forze just lacked the ability to really be able to make those adjustments. But we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll have the panel, and then we'll come back for map 2, so stay tuned, folks. We'll be back in a bit.
Charge up your game with excitement. Highest odds on the market. Coverage of all live and pre-match events. Place your bets with Solid Bookmaker and win with your favorite teams. Take what's rightfully yours with GG Bet.
I don't need recognition. I'm on a mission. I'm paying dues. I'm in position. I'm staying up. It's getting late. You're doing good. I'm doing great.
head to the fiery plains of Inferno after Heroic converted their choice of map of Overpass. It's pretty simple for Forze.
I see what you did there. Inferno, fiery plains. There's something there to that. There's something.
It loses its appeal, Dust, if you explain what I was going for.
I mean, I'm really good at losing people's appeal, then, so it's kind of just a thing I've mastered over the years, really. Yeah, absolutely. But worst superpower of all time. Anyway, so we are going to be heading to Inferno, as Vince stated, and this is a map that Forze has used to pretty great effect. I mean, they obviously were able to get some big wins at Blast Moscow, helped them get into those playoffs, had the win over Tide at NIP, had even a win over AVANGAR, the one map they did win in that series in the grand final, so definitely a map they'll feel more at home on, I think. And for Heroic, I think it's kind of hard to read there in front. They haven't played it that much. We did see them obviously have a very close loss to AVANGAR yesterday. It was like 14-16. They equally played well on the CT and T side. It was just a couple of rounds separated them from that victory, which is obviously part of the reason why they had to play some extra games yesterday. And okay, crowd's doing some waves. Okay. I don't know why they had the spirit fingers beforehand, but, you know, to each their own.
Yeah, they're trying to dabble in a bit of everything. At least we're not actually getting dabs, so I'm glad that fad's died.
Yeah, it seems like that is gone.
Thank God.
So that's always good. I thought you liked a good dab, Vince.
Absolutely not.
Oh, okay. So no chance we get like a dab emote or anything like that?
Yeah, about that.
Even Richard cracked on that one, so I feel like maybe one day.
You know I already have one, right?
You do have a dab emote?
That's what you were going for.
Oh, I didn't know you had one already. You also do have an emoji where you are a literal, never mind.
Okay, be careful here.
Yeah, things that you do in the restroom. You do have one of those. And also one where you're a rat. So, I mean, you're really good with the emotes, if we're honest.
I'm not even sure how to respond to that.
You should. Let's just talk about the game now. Let's get back in the game.
Forze and Heroic. Inferno. What are your expectations coming into this then, Dust?
A brawl. That's what I want to see. I want to see this one go the distance, Vince. I want all the rounds. I want taser kills. I want, you know, aces. I want the whole 9 yards.
Well, Inferno is definitely one of those maps that can certainly support those kind of plays and the real drama that Counter-Strike is so exquisite at delivering. Cadian takes a little bit of damage, but it was partially through the window, so only 6 in total. And he does get information for his troubles. So he's going to piece out of there and keep 2 players on A in the pit side. Also allowing Snappy to move in now on arches. Not too far off actually on that shot. Cadian again is the only player that's taking any kind of confrontation. And Flint loses his head, the guillotine comes down. Cadian's not done just yet, 3 kills! 15 HP left. What a massacre.
Owned.
Wrecked.
Destroyed.
Demolished.
Wasted.
Eviscerated.
Crushed.
You got me.
Come on, man. Learn some new nouns. I feel like we had that one going for a while. But, I mean, there really is no other way to describe what just took place there. What can Jerry do in a 1v5, Vince? Are you feeling this clutch? Go ahead, get the pipes ready.
I'm not. If he can get the first kill, I'll begin to believe.
Okay. That's when you'll start building it?
Yeah.
All right.
But I think we have to be a bit realistic here that Jerry really is up against an insurmountable task, and well, Borup's at least going to clean it up fast. It gives him the mercy of at least finishing him off with 1 bullet.
There you go. I think that's like the most optimistic way you could probably spin that, as it started off with a bang here on this initial defense from Cadian and Essa tag, and then finished off quite quickly as well. You'll start seeing the SMGs come into play, a few rifles also. Just the pistols before, saving up for the next round, obviously.
Yeah, Banana's definitely going to be hotly contested throughout the rounds, and this time it's Jerry that's on the receiving end of Stavin. Cadian's going to go unchecked, triple spray, padding them stats.
Sure thing. It's going to be Borup finishing it off, losing no players in both of these rounds, so the economy is building, and so is the excitement of those fans of Heroic who see them take those steps closer to the grand finals. Already 1 map under their belts and a good start here on Inferno, but now the guns come out to play from Forze. This is where they can start meeting Heroic head on. They are a team, when I've watched them in the past, they really favor 1-4-B play. Like, they have like one guy kind of lurk alt mid, the rest are just going to be going quad into B control, and that's where the triple stacking that Heroic likes to do at B is going to be a big problem. Like, it's going to be a lot of direct contest at Banana, I feel like, with this utility, with the aggression. Stound's a very, very good B player on this side of the map, and then you have Borup, who is kind of that anchor point on the opposite side.
Oh, Borup caught with a nade out. You hate to see that happening. Just a complete misread of the timing. S-Attack now forced with his back against the box, quite literally, and face crack will alleviate him. And likely this round will follow. I mean, Heroic, their chances of retaking with this weaponry are so slim. Why even bother trying? Just save. Keep the weapons going into the next round.
I thought there's like a lot of mind games going on there. Like, Heroic knows that Forze like to 4-1 towards B a lot to open up rounds. Forze probably knows from watching the AVANGAR game yesterday that Heroic like to triple stack B early and really use their utility and really pressure that. And so they just catch that really big timing with a really fast arch push. So I really like that you're kind of seeing those kind of the chess moves kind of taking place here on the board that is Inferno between two teams where Forze's tournament life is on the line. And so I'm hoping we're going to see some more of that, man. I hope we're going to keep seeing this back and forth because this has definitely been a nice series so far.
So all 8 players post-plant do survive to live to tell the tale. As you say, though, you are going to have another buy coming up shortly. Cadian could get an AWP, actually. He does drop an M4 to pick it up.
There you go. I just want to see if Heroic can keep it up. I mean, their defense on Overpass was so great, but again, Forze is a very chaotic, very fast-paced team. They can really get in your face very early in these rounds. They can really stress you out with their wild play. Their roles are very flexible, so it's really hard to read this team. Cadian trying to do something aggressive at mid, and he is gifted the scalp of Flit.
Correct.
We're not doing this again. Owned.
Dustmeret's career. Cadian's over there. Almeza has been tagged, but he is the one player that did at least put down a Dane in the form of S-Attack. They are also a little bit worried about a potential banana push. They had nobody around this area for quite some time. Now they're going back to just make sure it is clear.
Yeah, kind of a late B control play here. It's really only going to be up to Stown, who's kind of defending this more passively. He does put a smoke down, though. He does have a flash. There's no smokes or incendiaries left, actually, so retaking B is going to be very difficult. And this is kind of a crazy time that Almazer might be finding on Snappy here. Snappy seems to be aware it's a possibility, but it's all going to come down to just the milliseconds of time between switching back and forth on targets, and Almazer will be the one that snips it out. And now Stown's in so much trouble. Almazer winning this round basically single-handedly now, it seems. It's going to be these two players just saving on the opposite side of the map. 2-2, Vince. Close early.
Hey, man, you said it. You said it would be a brawl. And so far, fists have been flying. Bit wild, though, that Heroic conceded that round. It was looking so very good for them. As you say, Almeza basically just picking this round, putting it in his backpack, and running to the finish line.
Yep, gets all the kills, gets the sneak play through CT spawn, catches the timing on Snappy, puts Stown in a tough spot where he knows he's getting pinched. He wins that duel, and that's the round. And money is starting to get dangerously low here for the Danes.
Yeah, they are in that sort of territory where not too sure what the next buy is looking like. Snappy's going to be able to afford one at least. He's on 4.8k, but do they want to go behind it?
Tough to say. They say 2 guns. There is enough money maybe for some of the other players like to grab an SMG, like particularly S-Attack has enough for that type of thing. So I do feel like they probably will go ahead and go for it. They know that they still have this game close. This is an early part of the game, so you can kind of take more risk like this. And so there you have it. S-Attack is going to get the UMP, and then they have 3 reinforce and an AWP, so not too shabby. Someone else has to step up, though, besides Cadian. We're not seeing Stown and Burrup have the start that we're used to seeing, so those guys, I feel like, are going to be the X factors. Heroic are going to start contesting Forze here. As Forze looks to just kind of control apartments heavy-handedly to kick this one off.
Well, there's nothing friendly about this Casper. 8-0 and have well over 150 ADR.
Still a nice guy, though.
He's a lovely guy. One of the nicest pros you'll meet, to be completely honest. 2 players going back into pit. Burrup in the meanwhile on arches.
This will be interesting. This double pit setup is actually perfect for defending this type of apartments pop unless they do get mollied out or, you know, nade stacked or a flash is effective. We're seeing Flit and Jerry actually really put the pressure on B, and all this is designed to do is keep these players in place. They don't want any type of rotation taking place, and they might even get the added benefit of pulling one of the 8 players over, which they have indeed done. Burrup has been able to drift. This is the danger of having low utility. You know, you can't really play for retakes. You have to bite a little bit earlier on pressures like that. And this is going to soften up that A defense in a big, big way.
Now, first point of contact is going to be snapped to the anticipated double stack here in amongst the smoke. The stray bullets going all over the wall. And now this is where Attack can show his hand. One kill, looking for a second, claims it. Reaping all the souls of A. What a play from Attack. That is sublime.
As you said, you can't expect two to be there. Maybe you see like one balcony, one pit, maybe one mini pit, one big pit. Those are the more common setups you see, not two players hiding inside the smoke. First player is just cannon fodder, but then it really is just what allows the ace to come out of Heroic's sleeve on that re-push with the UMP from Attack. He wins them the round, goes up to 4 kills. That is a brilliant play with limited resources from Heroic. And here's that 4-1B opener.
Molly allows them to stay in this position. Once that clears, though, they are going to back away. There we have it. Stabbin, though. First kill. It's the other AWP over on B that struck.
And all this utility just continues to slow Forze down from exploding those 4 players onto the B bomb site, and they've already lost one of them, so it's just the 3 left towards this area. We're starting to see Face Crack, who normally lurks towards alt, meeting up, so it is going to be that B play. They do have a couple of smokes for CT spawn coffins. They have Molotovs for Nubox and perhaps oranges, just whatever they want to do here, but there are 2 on the site to defend, and Burup's right there to help from CT spawn.
Classic smoke. Smoke, CT and coffins. Going to be dealt with. Avan actually just going to be peering though from dark. Molly has been extinguished. They're wasting a lot of time though. Now Forze going to be pushing behind this Snappy. Too many angles. A couple players caught with nades. Now Stavin's going to miss. Uncharacteristically, it falls to Burup. But again, he's just being swarmed by multiple angles. There's too many bodies up against him. Cadian thinking, but maybe pushing through. Right idea. Actually connects a couple shots there. And it's Attack's nade, though, will bring us to a 2-on-2. HP favoring the Danes. Positionally, though, Forze do have the advantage. That flashbang is perfect. And now Face Crack, 31 HP to try and cultivate something. And there's the first, looking for the second, but the spray's not going to connect. And another big play, another big round from Attack.
Gotta give Cadian credit though too, man. He got his kill. He had a brilliant flashbang, and you can see that he's riled up now. That was such a brilliant retake. There's no way they should be winning that round. The B defense folded with no frags, essentially. Only Burup from spawn was able to find one. I think Stound just got caught in an off timing where he had a smoke in his hand. Snappy missed his shot, and you're thinking, all right, this is where Forze is going to come through. But no, the retake does come in despite the odds, and now they're up 4-2, and they have Forze on a very limited buy, Vince. It's where they can start building that big lead.
They are right on the precipice of a special CT round, but can Forze climb up and knock them off? Hefty nade damage at the beginning. 1 flash remains. And it's just been tossed out to take top banana control. That's not going to help them deal with this Molotov. They decide to just run straight through there. They're not afraid of fire. Maybe they should have been. It's another massacre. It's another clean sweep. And it's another round for Heroic.
Winter wasn't coming there on Banana, not this time, as we see another flawless victory from Heroic. They're starting to build up a massive economy now for the long term of this half. The Forze need to find something out very quickly. Again, they got to be shaking their heads. They probably felt like they should have had that previous round where they took B and got the clean entries, but just couldn't hold off that retake. And what is this from Heroic?
They are going straight down middle. It's a nade stack, second nade. They're going to take the confrontation. It hasn't quite worked out as well as they were hoping for, especially as Flit just darts around the corner and takes him out. Snappy now has a chance. Doesn't work out either.
That is the exact same aggression they tried to do against AVANGAR yesterday, and it's basically the exact same result. It just doesn't pan out. You have to think, yeah, sure, you want to change the pace, you want to keep Forze guessing. Your aggression worked on overpass. You win that round. You really have Forze's heads at that point, like you just have free real estate in their minds. But not going to happen. But maybe, just maybe, in the 2-on-4, they still figure it out. They did figure out that retake last round.
They're split up. And now Burup is going to get the call to maybe come back and reinforce A. Decides better of it. The bomb just round the corner in the hands of Jerry. He's going to get smoked out. This could come down to a timing play. If he peeks that smoke at the right moment, it could still be on. For Borup, not too far away, does a chunk of damage. But Cadian, with the AWP, doesn't have too much of a hope of getting back onto the site unless he gets peeked and finds his kill, but it's face cracked from middle. It takes him down instantly afterwards.
Yeah, living up to his name, they are finding him between the eyes, and that's a third round for Forze. The Russians are starting to get back onto the board, but again, that money is there for Heroic thanks to what we've been able to see them do these last 3 rounds prior to that one, winning a lot of clean victories. Yeah, it's just this aggression up alt mid just wasn't fruitful at all. But now that they're back to playing normal, maybe we'll see them get back to success, but this is also Forze's chance to crack into this half.
Decent nade damage again. And it's Almazer and Flick to take the brunt of it, but it's C-Power. Had a slow start to Inferno, but was one of the highlights on Forze. Over on Overpass. Flashbang out. P comes into play. Almazer thwarts the attempt.
Yeah, this aggression is starting to get shut down by Forze. They're starting to really kind of just play back, kind of wait things out, be patient, and then deliver the impact frags when it matters most. And so it looks like they're on their way to round number 4, unless this rotation from Borup can do better than the previous round. Last time he lined up a spray down, only got 1. He'll have to do even better now. Also a bit of a timing going on here. As attack does drift into CT spawn. He wants to help reinforce B, but there is that chance now. Because of that, that face crack could lurk behind him and be a real problem.
Borup sneaking. Trying to bide his time behind coffins. Hoping he doesn't get pushed into one. Well, that's exactly what happened.
He is conveniently right next to it, so they don't even have to lift him very far to put the nails in.
How kind of him.
I know.
Even thoughtful in death.
What a lad. 5 on 4 now where things are sitting. Finally, Heroic has blown all their money, so they will be on the ramen diet of college students going into this next round. But Stound, Vince, there is indeed an interesting tool on the field.
I didn't even have to look to know what it was. Another Zeus. 4-player stack over on the A side. Stavin's position next to the apps. Now, unfortunately, Dust,
that's
I know it's going to break your heart again.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like he's going to get to use it.
Probably not.
There's a dink. Jerry's being a real pain in the ass. More than that? Okay.
Snappy said, get out of my house. This B-bomb side is mine. Trying to just keep darting back and forth, trying to see if he can do a little bit more, but Jerry finally has enough of it, and face cracks found Stounds. That taser definitely not going to have any impact now. Does seem like we're about to see that ticker go up to 5 and a tie game on our hands. Can't really see Heroic doing too much now. Just 3 USPs, and they're all in the wrong place. As that bomb drifts towards that B-bomb site. And so there you have it, Vince. Another close game on our hands to kick off these playoffs here in Rotterdam. You do love to see it.
This is why I love Inferno so much, man. It's just tailor-made for close, immersive games.
It is the classic, isn't it? I mean, obviously, Dust 2 is like the most noticeable map, even for outsiders, but Inferno is the bread and butter map of this game, I feel like. So many classic map 3s throughout the years.
I definitely agree with that.
I mean, 20 years of Counter-Strike, and I feel like Inferno is just one of those iconic figures.
Of course, Cash on the horizon, maybe making a re-entry sooner rather than later, but the last battleground that we'll be visiting, if Forze can convert from here, will be Nuke. Another oldie, but goodie. Face crack to be pushing down Banana. There's going to be a flashbang in there looking for a kill. It doesn't actually affect face crack at all. So that's just a cleanup in the middle aisle. 4K to his name.
Money is back, though, now for Heroic, so a chance to get that rifles out. They're not going to have enough money for the AWP, though. This is a team that likes to run double op even at times with Stound over towards B and Cadian over towards the A side. Which makes me wonder, like, with this timeout, are they thinking to themselves, you know what, maybe we should go upgraded pistol armor, some utility, you know, maybe buy down to, like, the 2,500 range or something like that and make sure that we get a nice full buy in the next round. I mean, they basically are going to be approaching very close to max loss bonus after a loss here. So that could be it. But also, fair enough, they have enough money just to go for M4s and utility and armor. It's just you're not going to have as many nades for retake situations. Maybe you're going to be lacking a kit. And so that means that you kind of have to fight forward. And their playstyle is so utility reliant, especially at Banana. So this does mean they have more limited options.
Limited options, but hefty amounts of M4s. Definitely going to give them a little bit of hope. This round can still steer in their favor. Boosted up. Cadian playing anti-flash. Another flash coming in. Good read of the scenario, though. Oh, he's pulled the smoke out. The timing could not have been worse, but there's multiple CTs to pick up the slack. Crossfire in, but C-Power spinning around, lands the P250 headshot. I'm not entirely sure what the hell just happened, but now Stavin, through the smoke of Library, can look to shush a couple of terrorists. It's the smoke, he's been caught out in the open. And Forze gonna take the lead.
And that's why Forze is synonymous with chaos to me. That's just the type of play style they bring. Sometimes they're just gonna load up the box with all their players, they're just gonna charge in, and they're gonna go gung-ho trade mode. The problem with that was there was actually kind of a triple port setup there, which is very hard to break when you're trying to get control of brackets, especially because there was a late peek as well from Arc side. So a really brilliant crossfire from Heroic, and they got the first couple of kills seemingly going their way, but as you know, there was a little bit of a mistiming where I think Cadian pulled out a smoke because he figured his teammate under ports would cover him while he pulled it out to resmoke mid. Unfortunately, he dies because his teammate doesn't quite get the trade fast enough, and then in the blink of an eye, all of a sudden, Forze lights up your kill feed, and they have a 6th round on the board. Again, that is just kind of the style that they have. And they thrive in that chaos, I feel like. And it makes it very hard for defenses to deal with them. That's why I thought it was so brilliant. Heroic did have the counters on Overpass. That was, you know, them kind of showing that they were able to handle that. But on Inferno thus far, they've lost the last 4 rounds in a row ever since the economy was back in order for the Russians. They were able to get rifles in their hands. It's really been a tough time for the Danes. It's only going to get harder in a round like this with just pistols.
Yeah, that last play was just kind of unfortunate timing. Speaking of which, Almeza and Flit will be feeling just that. Pushing up Banana as the grenades fall upon them. 5 smokes, plenty of opportunities to stall and starve Forze of time. Not too much else apart from the smokes, though. Forze just having a feeler as to where these CTs may be residing.
Yeah, things kind of come to a slowing point after some utility damage here, but again, we are seeing Forze really loading up those numbers towards Banana. They do have some presence still towards the apartments in middle with Z-Power and Face Crack. Now those smokes come out on B. Are they going to commit all the way? The bomb's actually still back, so they couldn't use this as an invitation to go back for a day later, and it seems that's going to be the case, but as I say that, Borup kind of has the read on it. He is rotating over. The problem is, again, they just don't have the firepower for this.
I feel like that might be as a result. Typically, they've already pushed through by now after those initial nades. So that's this stalled element is telegraphed it. But now, obviously, we can see the Forze have gone back.
Yep. Double fake for a mid-B split. There's no presence towards Archway except for Stown, who's in spawn. So I feel like this is going to be very deadly.
Oh, no.
Stown has no idea.
He's also rotating. This is just going to leave Snappy. He did land a pretty slick USP double headshot. Now they're backing away.
What is going on?
It's a game of musical chairs.
They run into a stack, though, Vince. That gives CTs a little bit of a chance.
15 seconds. They're running into a stack with such little time remaining, and the P250s are starting to rip through the terrorists. The bomb needs to get on that site right now.
It's not going
to
plant time.
They cannot stall any longer. Flit going for the plant, just about going to get this. No, he won't. It's a millisecond too late. The indecision has cost Forze so very much.
That is the problem you run into when you bleed the clock on an anti-eco. There is that 50-50 chance that you're going to run into a stack site and you're going to be in a lot of trouble. They were trying to manipulate rotations as best they could, but Heroic kept holding their ground, bro. They were really just riding on that gamble, and they were right. What a brilliant play there from Heroic. They tied up the game with so little. Now they're in that double op setup.
Forze switching up the pace, maybe some frustration coming in. Shake it off by putting Heroic down quickly. Cadian, orb kill, flashes out. There's a counter flash tossed in instantly. Snappy was hoping his teammate was still alive to boost on, but finds out that Cadian's the victim of shrapnel. And now Borup.
They don't have the bomb.
It's back at T-spawn. They do have plenty of time, though, to play with, but someone is going to have to go get that. That's going to be Almeza's task.
But are they going to drain the bomb back up to A now? And then Burup's rotating that direction, and Esatag's already here. If Esatag gets this kill, then they're going to bring the bomb back. No, never mind. It's not going to wind up mattering. They'll win the round.
Yeah, I think especially as C-Power with the open flip were already on the B site.
Yeah.
It was unlikely they were going to go A. But as you say, I mean, if that first trade maybe goes the way of Heroic, things may have shaped up nicely for the Danes again. Rest in peace, Burup. You're not going to be able to save that AWP.
Nope. Very near the graveyard, so again, being thoughtful of not having to go too far with the corpse, but Forze do fight right back. 7-6 is where we sit now, and money is pretty rough for Heroic. So this is the chance for Forze to dart out in front even more, but remember, Heroic did win a round very similar to this not that long ago. It's a pretty similar setup, so, but not this time, it doesn't feel like.
Well, they are already committing a lot of forces up on Banana, and it's 3 players here. That grenade chunking Stavin, killing Burup in the process. Molotov follows it up, spraying up through the smoke. There's going to be no survivors this round for Heroic. They are being put down where they stand. And Cadian is like, well, I guess I'll just chill on Fountain then. I'll get some pretty scenery for my tomb.
Those goldfish are immortal, by the way, man. Get rid of them.
Unfortunately, Cadian isn't.
Nope. Thought maybe the water was going to do it for him, like the Lazarus pit, but not the case. So there you have it. 1 round left to go in the half. Forze do have the lead. They've guaranteed themselves that, but can they extend it that 1 step further? Full buy coming out from Heroic. They do have full rifles, AWP, utility, everything that they could want. But Forze have been on a heater on the tail end of this first half.
Too hot for Cadian to handle. Up mid. Certainly not what Heroic were hoping for. It was them that led 8-7 going into the second half of Overpass. Now it's looking likely that Forze will do 2 better. Or 3 better, pardon me. Molotov deployed onto the top of Banana. Stavin playing the close angle. Meanwhile, Snappy also watching in case a flash comes in from Coffins.
Yeah, utility still coming here at mid. It's really keeping Esatag kind of landlocked on this position. But we do see Burup making the rotation, but down in a weird off angle. It does not pay off. And now we see the entry force coming in, but Burup is holding on for dear life with Snappy.
Burup has been laid to rest. Here is Snappy, though. Trying to clip at the heels of the oncoming Russians towards B. Molly's going to get extinguished, but the P250 perforating the smoke and the head of Snappy, leaving Esatag. He has landed some big moments on this map, some clutch plays. He's going to have to do it all over again. Smoke at the front of the site can allow him to nade, but I think Split knew exactly what was coming up. Molotov placed down in pool. They're starving him of time, starving him of oxygen. Trying to relocate, see if he can just land a headshot through the smoke and try and get back onto the site in enough time. There's no kit for him, there's no nades, there's no hope, and no health. Forze going to lead 9-6 going through to the second half here of Inferno, and we'll find out what happens next after this break.
There's fire on the doorstep. Searchlights in the hall. What a difference a day makes. Just to think that yesterday we had it all. Blame me for the sorrow and the dark clouds in the sky. You can say you're justified. I'll be your alibi. You can blame it all. You can blame it all. You can blame it all on me. You can blame it all. You can blame it all. You can blame it all on me. The sirens sang their warning. You just looked at me and laughed. Now I stand here in the ruins, pretend I never tried. I'll be your alibi. You can blame it all. You can blame it all. You can blame it all on me. You can blame it all. You can blame it all. You can blame it all on me. I gave everything I had just to keep this love.
After a confident start from Heroic, they started to slip away as Forze woke up from their slumber. They now lead 9-6 on the CT side of their choice of map, Inferno, and Nuke will be up next if Heroic can't pull this back.
They poke the bear, Vince. You don't ever want to do that. So we'll see if Forze can roll this into a victory in a map 3 on Nuke. That is certainly in the cards now more than ever. Heroic looking for some type of quick play up lane.
Tag already out, but already 4 players getting into close proximity. Jerry just being careful. There's no flashbang. That's the bomb in first. Gonna put that USP to work. Missing a lot of shots, and he's gonna get punished. Cadian bounces straight back. This opens up additional avenues of aggression towards B side. Flit using the tight angle.
Nice.
Oh, 2 1-taps in quick succession, and that's the bomb that goes with it. That's the play that could get Forze back on the board again with another pistol. Stavins just fell back to the site. He's waiting for the re-aggression from the counter-terrorists. Biding his time. Cadian, in the meanwhile, is slipping his way down middle. Could this be the moment for the youngster to show us again why he's touted as the next big thing from Denmark? Not quite. Face crack deals with him. Cadian now going to be the last player to step up to the plate. The very capable hands. Maybe steer them into a pistol round win. Not going to be the case. Flit certainly deserves the plaudits for that round.
You're seeing the examples of why he's number 3 rated player in this tournament so far. Number 2 in damage per round. He's also going to be ranked in the top 5 for multi-kill rounds. And those were 2 beautiful crisp headshots with the USP. The stopper was looking like a very dangerous CT spawn press into Banana. He held this ground so well. So much pressure was on him. He was all alone, and he delivered. Double digits now for Forze. You're not going to see the force up, though, from Heroic. Scout and play, a few deagles. Stown is such a nasty deagler, too, man, so I'll be interested to see if they can pose a threat in this round.
They could definitely not write off Heroic at this point. And they've already made some inroads up through mid towards the arches. Grenade goes over, minimal damage. Nothing that's really going to stop Heroic from pushing in. No one facing up Banana from the CTs, playing more passively.
Yeah. Smoke on Library will give Stown a bit more room to start edging out here on this Moto wrap. Perhaps get a pick through Arch or Library. Z-Power playing it from the statue inside the spawn. Keeping tabs. Still have a double stack over towards B. Double pit setup, or pit balcony rather, so still double on lane. This allows Moto to basically be freely wrapped. It's going to be the Z-Power's timing with the UMP and Library. It's going to be big.
Could be peeking into S-Attack, though, with a deagle. This could quickly shape the round and how it's going to come down. It's a good flashbang. It was actually tossed in by Face Crack. And so all of those potential hurdles have been dealt with. Z-Power tagged up, also returns fire. There's the drive-by from Stavin, and Burps also came in. Face Crack now is caught between 3 terrorists engaging him. He's being killed slowly but surely from arches before he fires back, and Burp deals with him. M4 now trading hands, and Burp does have Kevlar to supply it. Bomb going to be planted by Cadian. They can't stop this plant. He may very well burn alive, but now Burp, he's stepping up big. He's been dinked, but it's an MP9 up against the M4. And the assault rifle's going to come out second best. Jerry just about clutching, but the CT's lost 5 weapons.
Yeah, Team Ace coming in there from Forze. Burp almost pull out the clutch. That's a brilliant little play. That's what Heroic's really good at on this A side of the map. And you're going to see that in rifle rounds as well. They're really great at these multi-pronged attacks on A. Their smokes are really good. The stagger, any type of defense, rotations, or vision once they get control of top middle. Stown's going to be such a big player up lane, usually very good entry player out of the boiler. And then Burp's going to be that guy making those timing attacks outside of the apartments on that balcony when he finds a perfect round to strike and blindside someone. So I think that's going to be the big thing Forze will have to do to keep this lead up and get the map victory, is just put a stop to Heroic's really good A set pieces.
Ooh. The Scout triumphs over the AWP. And Cadian could have another. A bit of over-aggression on the side of Jerry, but he is able to scamper away. Smoke deployed. Cadian wasn't sure if it's a flashbang, turns his back.
Surely not.
If Jerry goes down here, B is just open for business. And he will! Esther tags Khalil. Mops the floor with him. Now, of course, they don't know that he was the last line of defense, so they're going to play this cautiously. Does allow Almeza to move in.
They get a free op, too, from that vent, and they get the upgrade that Khalil into an M4. Actually, Snappy's still holding on to it. Weren't able to push that much further to find the other gun. Wanted to be very careful about it. They still have Burp holding position inside apartments. Now they're gathering up towards middle with the bomb. They still have the smokes to block off pit if they want to run up lane or smoke off library, whatever they choose. They do have exactly what they need to try to isolate one of these players from each other and really just try to work their way in. And it looks like they are indeed going to go for that Moto Rat play. Again, they have the smoke they need to safely cross around library and arch.
Almeza making a move from B to A. And gets a swift kick in the D. Split in the meanwhile, though, from the back of pit. Is opening up with the M4. And Face Crack off the site is going to be able to repel the oncoming tease, but for how much longer? He didn't expect the alcove peak. And you can understand why. It's a bit of an off angle. And Heroic have got it done. That was such a poor buy for them. That Cadian scout shot to open up round was so sick.
Oh, absolutely. And then the follow-up from Tag with the Galil, just such a great trade on top banana with limited resources. That's the kind of rounds that's going to be nightmare fuel for Forze if they don't wind up recovering and just winning this map. They're still well out in front, but the problem is their money is quite low. Mac 10s are going to even come out here for Heroic to try to farm some extra dollars, and this is where the game all of a sudden opens right back up. This is where the economy becomes fragile. This is where Heroic can find round number 8. They put themselves in touching distance of Forze's lead. Again, this is a map that we saw them play AVANGAR very close yesterday. They've been able to win it in the past. Sample size is small, so we can't know how good they are on pressure situations on this map, but so far, they've kept it interesting.
Yeah, tenacity shown as well, able to pull that one back. But Forze, they have let a lot of these rounds slip through. It was the same overpass, and that will become a bit of a concern here. You
so ridiculous.
That is such a slick shot. And we saw it from Flitz's perspective, by the way. He had the drop on Cadian. Cadian went for the shoulder peak. That's one of the perks of being a scout, though, obviously. You get more movements.
A little bit more mobility, exactly. The accuracy on it is actually not that bad. We do see them kind of spotting each other out here at middle. This time Z-Power's trying to be taking the scout to Cadian. Misses his opportunity. No big deal, though. At least he's still alive.
He wanted to return the favor. Doesn't quite pay off for him.
He's still going for it, too. Still holding this position, and now Cadian says, nah, that ain't me.
I was going to say, with a buy like this, and when you have a buy on the horizon, you can go for these aggressive plays, but they force more into the rounds. They have nothing left in the bank. Jerry's just been smashed up through the wall, courtesy of Cadian's AWP.
It's one of those situations where they knew that Heroic's economy was low, so if they could force buy and somehow pull a rabbit out of the hat, then they would have Heroic back to saving or force buying in their own right. That's when you can really kind of just keep maintaining a pretty big lead, but it hasn't panned out. They have to just save these 3 guns over at B. At the very least, they at least kind of claimed the Mac 10 from Snappy, so that gives them a little bit more into the next round, but obviously this is going to be Heroic, probably one of the next couple off of how things have played out so far.
Well, you'd certainly think so. As you say, though, a little bit of firepower for Forze to try and utilize. Aren't going to be chasing them down, either are the Danes. So maybe some more twists and turns. You can see that middle portion of the map was heavily dominated by Forze. Looking at the stats here. ADR, 94 for
Cadian has 21 effective flashes. Jesus.
Not bad.
He had a lot on overpass as well. I didn't mention it, but I think he had over 20 effective flashes on overpass as well. And that's great when you're Opper. It's not always going to be going for the aggressive peak. Sometimes he's going to be setting up his other players. He's done a great job of it.
Yeah, I think it's usually the middle players get a lot of effective flashes. And he was holding from Arch. Take nothing away from Cadian, of course, but most flashes through mid are going to hit somebody. Let's have a look how it's shaping up for Forze. And, well...
And scene.
Yeah.
So they do have an A stack, and there is that chance that if Heroic kind of tripped the fuse over here, they could be in for a tough one. But so far, just kind of keeping it default. Usually seeing Tag and Snappy doing that B control play. They fall off of it pretty early, though, and they actually are going to run to the stack vents.
Are being softened up by grenades before the push comes in. Face cracked. 5-7, slightly off. I'm not going to get second chances when you have the pistols up against a full arsenal of weaponry. You have to make each and every bullet count. Flashbang through. Almeza untouched by it. But Burrow has some AK-47 rounds as friends that will follow up the flash. It was a bit of a mess in mid. Fortunately, it was the P shooter of the USP that greeted them.
Snappy also getting a little bit extra money because he was able to get the MAC 10 frags. That's going to, you know, just add a little bit to the coin jar. So we're going to see now Heroic route back over to B to get this bomb planted and finish off this round. They will go up to 9, just 2 away from tying this game up to 4. As Forze will be able to buy back into the next round, though. So that'll be a bigger test for the Danes. See if they can still keep the 2-0 dream alive. Obviously, they have that third map safety net, having claimed Overpass.
Come on, S-Attack, get the kill. Get that team ace. No, Snappy, don't do it. Oh, you had the chance, S-Attack. Why does it happen?
Why are you so upset?
Jerry's out there as well. He does have
Spaghetti.
Kevlar. He's going to be hunted down, though, to be fair. He's just looking for some exits. Obviously, the kill reward bonus, if he can get one with the MAC 10, is going to be significant. Some extra grenades going to fall his way. His team are going to have a buy regardless of what happens, of course, to Jerry. And it's going to be a bullet to the dome.
Yeah, curtains fall there onto Jerry. 9-11 is indeed where things sit at this very moment in time, but Forze will be back onto the buy. Z-Power with AWP. That's the guy you feel like needs to get going, man. He's usually their leading fragger. He had a lot of impact on Overpass. He's, again, one of the top-rated players in this tournament next to Flit, so I feel like if he can get going, that is what will hold Heroic off. Meanwhile, Stound's also been quite quiet this game in comparison to the rest of the tournament, so imagine if he comes online, then their comeback effort's probably a real reality for Heroic.
Another player that was a beast on the Overpass as well. He hit high 20s, just shy of 30 kills. So the two talismen have certainly had a quiet one. Grenades ricocheting off the wall. Jerry's going to take a bit of damage.
And the flip side of that, I've been impressed with Kadian. I mean, he had a kind of a slower day yesterday. Even made a tweet about it, but he's come in today and he's played really well in both these games so far. So you are seeing them look to gear up and go for Banana. It is mostly Almazer here. He's going to get reinforced by Jerry now. Here's the problem, Vince. They have 2 smokes, so they can bog down Banana, but when it comes to retaking, they just don't have a lot of options. No kit, no incendiaries, no nades, limited flashes. It's going to be tough. They need to win this initial duel.
Have to channel it in Leonidas and make their last stand. As you say, they can't really hope to have second chances. Smoke out. This is why they're going aggressive. They're taking the fight to Heroic. The bomb carrier is the last remaining player perched up. Snappy.
Ooh, that's risky, buddy.
He is really playing with fire here.
He is going to back off, though, so no harm, no foul. They're going to look to explode on the middle. Z-Power, though, has a forward angle, and so does his teammate Flit.
That's a smoke, not a flash. Flit knows it. Time dwindling away. Heroic still haven't really got through onto the site. Getting mid's one thing, but converting it in an entirely different
so low on
puzzle
time,
altogether. Now they're going to start to make a move in. Z-Power watching Arches. He has face crack in pit, just been Molotov'd out. Flashbang going to come up high. 10 seconds to go. The Danes have got to scramble onto the site. They're getting kills. Is it going to be enough time, though? Z-Power is doing such a solid job. And the back of the bomb is not going to get planted in time. Again, a matter of milliseconds.
I thought they had it. Burrup was the guardian angel from pit to make sure that Op couldn't push forward enough to stop the plant. So I really did think that they were going to pull it off. But again, it's that problem where you're just a little bit too hesitant. You push the site maybe a second or two faster. All of a sudden, you get that kill on Z-Power's Op inside the site. You get the bomb planted, and you probably do win that round. I think they had great positioning. Everything seemed to be lining up for them, but again, they just took a bit too long on pulling the trigger, and now Forze are up 12-9.
But it's deja vu.
So fragile, though.
It's deja vu, though, because Forze did the exact same thing.
Yeah.
On the same site, the same position.
Heroic do still have a good shot, though, here, because, I mean, when you look at the money of Forze, if Heroic are able to pull this round off, you're probably going to push it to 11-12, and you're still going to be in decent shape. So, while that round certainly stings, they're not out of it yet. Forze still need to win a couple of big rounds. And it's going to be a lot harder to do because this round's kind of similar to the last. They do have a little bit more utility. They do have that one kit, but they're on 2 UMPs.
We have plenty chapters to go in this story of Inferno, no doubt. Both teams juking it out the center of the ring. Smoke's going to be deployed. Your standard your classics, 1 CT, 1 coffins. Do you have a player boosted up in Almeza?
Yeah. That's always the thing. Are you going to check this booster or not? Like, that's always the question that has to be asked, and depending on the answer, it kind of depends on how the rest of the round is going to go. Again, Heroic are taking their sweet time here. We do see that Stound's done enough to kind of keep them interested at middle. So it's still just going to be this 2-man B defense, the crossfire on the boost and in dark corner. But there are going to be Molotovs and smokes that could be pushing these people into odd positions.
Almeza playing anti-flash. They're going to be resting on him. It's a slow hit. They try to put out S-Attack. First point of action, Jerry's changed position. Almeza's also chipped in for a frag, but his buddy has died on the site. Cavalry has arrived. Not quite in time to stop the plant. 3 players survive for the T's. The Dane's gonna regroup at the back of the site towards dark. And new box, Cadian waiting, anticipating a peek, and he's gonna be rewarded for his patient play. Face cracks the player to fall, there's more coming in. He shoots between them, but now it's up to Snappy with his SG. He's gonna whiff a bunch of bullets and the smoke in the eyes of Burrup. He knows where the bomb's planted, and he trusts the call from his teammates.
Oh no.
The diffuser's coming in, he's running out of bullets, he needs to peek it again! Just in the nick of time! The Danes strike gold, and double digits will be theirs.
Oh, that was such a tense one, but Burrup pulls it off. Again, just knowing where that bomb is, having faith in his aim to spam through when he saves the day. Also, give some credit to Snappy and Cadian here. It was very tricky how they both boosted on top of the dark corner boxes. So Cadian gets a kill. He repositions up top there. They frag him. They don't expect the second guy to be there. So at least it allowed Snappy to get another frag and at least made it a more manageable clutch opportunity for Burrup. Just want to throw that little bit of insight in there, as we are going to see Forze now on really nothing, right? No armor, just some upgraded pistols, no utility, no nothings. It should be round number 11 for Heroic, as we were kind of alluding to earlier.
Yeah, harkens back to the point you made exactly after the heartbreak of not getting the plant in time. You're like, Heroic is still in this game.
Yeah. I think, again, though, the one thing that I am worried about going forward, you know, even though Heroic will likely win this round, they're putting themselves right on the heels of Forze, and they've played an overall pretty good game. Is that whole running the clock down too low thing gonna keep haunting them? Like, they barely got away with one in the last round because of it.
Oh, they're not going to be taking their time this time around. Jerry, that one deke. Cheeky plays. Snappy gets splattered.
Yeah. Taking the mind to throw a gun out the map so it can't be reclaimed by anyone from Forze. Just kind of that small little details that do help you out in the long term, as they are now going to look to press forward on this A-bomb. So there are 2 players in position, but again, they don't have a whole lot to work with. It would be kind of a miracle to see them put a hold here. They are getting an extra rotation, though, from Z-Power, so 3 players will be over here. It gives them their best chance to win, but again, it's still so limited.
The tap from Stavin, who is seemingly waking up a little bit from a slow start. It is against an ecoed up team. Can't get too carried away, Z-Power. Make them sweat it a little bit more with a deep kill, but it is going to go the way of the Danes as expected. With about 12 seconds to go, the bomb plant is forthcoming. Almeza's CZ on the prowl to maybe try and take one of these guns away. Bolster up their bite.
And you can start seeing the Heroic fans get energized. They now know that Heroic are starting to get out of the woods. They're not quite out yet, but they are very near now tying this game up, keeping that 2-0 hope a real possibility. Forze tournament life on the line right now. They've done well to make these playoffs, to kind of build off of their performance at Blast Moscow and some of their online play throughout the year that's keeping people interested in this team, but they might get silenced here soon if they don't figure this out. Spam, woo. All right, well. Woo.
Forze, though, straight back in with another purchase. It's going to include no kits, though, Dust.
Nope. Limited utility as well is always going to be a big factor in retakes, as we've kind of talked about throughout this game. So it does make it a little bit harder on them. They have to make different decisions. Looking to try to challenge here on top banana early. It is, again, that brawl that we've kind of been expecting, and what is also classic about this map, triple nade stacking down banana. They have dumped so much. It's been an airstrike on the strip, but nothing has actually chipped away at Heroic. They're still fully healthy. They haven't burned that much of their own utility, and so that's fine. It's really helped out Heroic for maybe a later beat if they decide to go that direction. The apartment's aggression, though, is another big factor in all of this.
It has been a constant too. Heroic have been toing and throwing around this area. So Forze have got to respect it. Smoke deployed in mid, just to allow them a little bit more time to get back to the site.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about Heroic on Inferno, man. Like, they really have good fundamentals. Like, they have set roles. You know, you always know that Burup's going to be controlling those apartments. Down's going to be floating mid or boiler. They're good at setting up their initial map control. It's all about the mid-round decision-making and the speed of which. But Jerry actually catches one up close. Snappy, though, luckily brings that right back. It's a big trade to get if you're Snappy, to keep yourself on equal footing in what could have been a very tense situation otherwise. Still 2-on-D defending, and I mean, Heroic are thinking about maybe regressing towards top middle now. They already have Burup in that direction with Stound.
There's been no push behind the initial trades, so they are keeping a 2-2 formation. Power, who originally was peeking mid, is now backed away towards the arches. They are still trying to fake this out. They're trying to draw Z-Power out into the open, but he is up to the task. He knows exactly what they're going for. He is not going to be baited. It's a good flashbang. Going to keep spraying through him because Z-Power was so very low, he couldn't afford it. The time again is so very low, though, on the side of Heroic. 15 seconds to go, and the bomb is moving up Banana. But Flit, if he can get a kill, this round is done. He's going to get smoked off.
Over.
6 seconds, it's done. Heroic have played themselves out the round again.
I think the big detail that you have to realize on how the round goes this way is because Burup, off that utility, was going to sell the fake even further. He was meant to press into the site, be the one guy entering, because obviously if you throw a bunch of nades and nothing happens, you kind of know, okay, this is a fake. Like, this is just them dumping utility to keep us in position. We know what's going on. But Burup was going to try to sell it by pushing in. The problem is Z-Power spotted that arch rotation before Burup could actually press into the B site, and it basically killed any illusion that Heroic were trying to pull over Forze's eyes. So 13 now for the Russians.
Quick boost. There is a smoke down there, though, blocking them. S-Attack tosses a nade in, does negligible damage. The player up close here, though, with the MP9 could be a real nuisance. That grenade is money in the bank. But they haven't been able to collect it just yet.
They're pressing in, though, Vince. We do see that Jerry's in a lot of trouble right now. His focus going to block his vision. He gets a kill, though, before it actually blooms. So he actually gets them back into a winnable state, and they are having a rotation. They even have a flank from the Banana already.
He was looking to push through the smoke, but Cadian had already read the situation perfectly, just spraying up through there, gets the kill onto him. Cadian, though, having a peek down Banana, gonna lose his life. In comes Flit, but his face crack that's doubling up with kills, and a third. He is ripping through Heroic. And Forze going to get the successful retake, 14-11.
Yeah, despite the fact that Heroic was actually getting some good headway into B, you just saw that one little timing play before the smoke blooms, that initial frag coming in. Also, this Banana flank came in so fast from face crack. There was no preparations in place yet from Heroic to deal with that type of action. The speedy, chaotic play here from Forze on these big rotations have been a real problem for Heroic. Again, the clock has been their enemy several rounds throughout this half. It feels like they need something to change. They need to pick up the pace. They need to try to just plow in.
Seems like they agree with that sentiment. But it's going to be aggression that goes completely against them. Z-Power did end up killing himself somehow. But Forze don't care. 4 map points.
Hey man, 6 frags are better than 5, you know? That is how math works, I think. Me and math have a bad history with each other, but here we go. Forze on the cusp of forcing a third map on Nuke, and it seems like such a big reality considering Heroic have very little to work with in this round, Vince.
Well, yeah, speaking of poor math, the accountant's not happy with how much he had to work with in this round.
I mean, Denmark is expensive, Vince. Those kroners will get you.
That's very true. Copenhagen, it's a beautiful city, mad expensive.
They will destroy your wallet.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely. Would you like a beer? That'll be 20 euros. Unfortunately, Heroic need to do some quick work if they want to be able to celebrate with those brewskis, because right now they're about to be forced to a map 3. Again, just kind of taking a slow approach.
Smoke deployed onto Banana. He's going to put a stop to S-Attac's aggression, who was the first player in. App's control, though, is falling the way of Burup, and he desperately wants to get through that smoke, but he's going to think better of it. He would have no support, ultimately. The rest of his team's stuck in mid.
Yeah. They're going to try to see if they can overwhelm this lane side with their utility. They're going to try to sneak him in, actually, with this smoke wall. We'll see if Baroque can have that impact. I feel like that is going to be the X factor.
Sea Power pushed up on the graveyard. The flashes are good, but Sea Power can still just about claim the kill. Flit with his M4 putting them down. There's a gap in this smoke, and Sea Power's making the most of it. That's the tag. Final player up, final player down. Nuke will be our deciding battleground.
Well, Blessed on the Destiny won the Slobber Knocker, and he had 3 reasons for why that could be the case, and it feels like he's pretty spot on at this point, man. We had a great game on Overpass that was pretty close. Heroic kind of in control the whole time, but at least we saw Forze keep it respectable. And then here on Inferno, despite the fact that Heroic had a really good start in the first half, and it felt like, the 2-0 seems to be on the horizon, we all saw Forze dig deep, man. They made some really great decisions throughout that game. And now they forced us into map number 3 on Nuke. So we're going to get a 3-mapper here in the semifinals. Vince, you'd love to see it.
Really do, especially it could be an absolute barn burner.
Yeah, a knee slapper if you want to keep that one going. But we're not. We're going to take it to break. When we come back, we're bringing map 3, so stay tuned.